Happy New Year, hip hop heads. Welcome to Hip Hop Talks. I did that without stuttering. I feel great. Happy New Year, motherfuckers. That's right. Yeah. Well, hold on. Can y'all see what I'm wearing right quick? Can y'all see what I'm wearing? Can I show you what I'm wearing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm the only guy in Georgia like this, really. But yeah.
What is that?
Notre Dame, sir. Fighting Irish.
Oh yeah,
Why?
they
Whoa,
they beat the brakes off Georgia.
First of all, somebody that's a Cowboys fan, you really need to watch him out.
Yeah.
Really need to watch him out as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
My question to you guys.
I support the Irish. You know what I'm saying? My girl, she graduated from Notre Dame, so I support the Irish. I can rock with that.
That sounds actually just like your Bill Cosby number 23 sweater wearing ass. Sounds like you. When's the last time somebody held Georgia to 10 points, though, y'all? Like, for real.
That is crazy.
It's not even that they beat them. It's like they held them to 10 points. When's the last time somebody held Georgia to 10 points? Like, for real. It wasn't
they beat the brakes off of them.
It's been years. Yeah.
Can we win the national championship? Ohio State looks like they about to whip everybody ass.
They can. They play like that. They can.
Yeah, if Ohio State plays their A game, everybody going home.
Everybody's going home. Yeah. They just said number. No, they had Georgia number. Nothing you can do about that.
I'm a Michigan guy. Y'all ain't gonna get me started on here about Ohio State.
I mean, Ohio State is my pop's team, and I'm gonna tell you what. He's not the type of guy to call. You know what I'm saying? But I remember one day he called me in 2022, and it's after Ohio State got done whipping Notre Dame's ass. And what I would really like is to have a championship game where Ohio State and Notre Dame are playing, and my father is getting a little bit older and up there in years, and there's nothing more that I would like to do than to talk straight shit to him and whoop Ohio State's ass. I would love that for me.
That'd be crazy. That is crazy cool.
Yeah, you thought I was saying I want my dad to win. There'll be none of that. I don't want.
I'm happy when anybody beat Ohio State, so I'm with you.
You want to know where I get my petty from? Go talk to him.
I can see that.
All right. We got a couple super chats already as we get started with this New Year edition. Gentlemen, yes, Queens get the money. Happy New Year, gentlemen. 007 in the house.
00, what up?
CJ Kidd with a dub to start off 2025. Good day, fellas. Happy New Year's. A lot going on. Joey going at Dot and the West. Lord Jamar addressed the Hispanic inclusion on the Elephant and Uncle Murder's 2024 wrap-up. Can't wait to see your insight. Ill Magic with the 199. Happy New Year, fellas. Peace, Ill Magic. So, fellas, where we want to kind of slide to next? You want to talk about the Joey? You want to talk about the hit? Where are we going? How you feeling? Click like, share, subscribe to us. We are closely approaching 2,000 followers. We do over 2,000 views all the time, but if you don't click like, share, and subscribe to be a part of this tribe.
Yeah, run the numbers up. This episode 50. This is a milestone, so you know what I'm saying? Pardon me, I'm a little under the weather, but yeah, run those numbers up.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's start with Hit Boy.
Okay. AG, I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick it off. Tell me what you think about the new hit.
Oh yeah, letter to my mentors. You know what I'm saying? Hit Boy is always presenting himself as a humble guy in the industry, man. And we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but I think that this is a track that everybody needs to check out because, I'm a big person who subscribes to paying homage, to people that helped you along the way. And in our culture, that's something you don't see very often. You know what I'm saying? Cats be too prideful to give homage to the people that paved the way for them to be where they're at. So, I'm thankful that Hit Boy, is not afraid to do that and put out a track, showing love to Polo, to Don, Kanye, Nas, amongst others, and it's a dope track. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hit Boy.
No doubt. I love it, man. I love it. Anytime you can pay homage to those who help you get to where you are, to me, that's just one of the most humble things you can do. Hit Boy's a humble guy anyhow.
Yeah.
that, the stories about him and Kanye and what happened there, and some of the fallout there. But the fact that he still reached back to show love and respect to what Kanye and Jay did for his career. Of course, it was an extension of what he talked about with Nas and just that whole run that they had together, and just showing respect to all of that. That just, to me, I love that kind of stuff, man. Because sometimes you got to show respect to those who help you along the way, regardless of what. And I love it. It's a great album. A great song, and also a great video. Love the collage, the visuals that he put together. I love it. A nice touch.
Y'all done?
Yeah. Here comes Mr. Hater of 2025, the reigning champ, the reigning hating champ.
Did I win?
Yeah, you did. You did by a landslide.
They won.
Landslide.
Well, nothing like a repeat champion.
Yeah.
I like the record. It's good.
3 years in a row.
Right. Triple crown numbers. It's good. It's just good though, guys. I mean, all that waxing poetic that y'all did, content was nice. But it was just good overall. You're not going to be playing this record in 30 days. It's good though. It's a good job by Hit. I mean, Hit, no, I fuck with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even nothing personal. I'm just going to continue to be honest about what I hear. Like, it's cool. It's a good record. I do like the video. The video is dope. I do agree with you, gentlemen, about the video. And I like you, Sean. I feel like people from Hit Boy's generation are the last generation to really pay homage, And so I do feel like it's cool that he is like paying homage on here. So that's what I'm saying. It's just good though. Like it's in rotation right now. I don't know how long it's going to be in rotation though.
But I mean, we don't know if it's attached to a project. So if it's a project that comes with it, then it's a very good chance we could be listening to it in 30 days. But, we don't know if it's attached to anything or if he was just doing this as a gift, around the Christmas season to show love to the people that helped him out. So
might be a Lucy. Might be a project.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys.
I think the attachment to it, to me, is the most important part. You know what I mean? It's just the sentiment of it is the most important part for me. That's why I appreciate that song more than anything else. You don't see that much in the industry anymore. Everyone want to be self-made. Everybody want to have their own voice and say they got here because of them. And for him to reach back like that, to me, the sentiment is the most important part of it.
And Sean, you alluded to it because we got the recency bias with the Nas thing. So, of course, he's going to pay homage to Nas. But for him to go back, because he's not where he's at without Kanye. And although him and Kanye's relationship isn't the best, you know what I mean? He's showing an alternative direction. Like Coop was talking about being Mr. Petty. Hit Boy could have very well been petty and been up in interviews, or what have you, talking, spicy about Kanye. But he chose another route. To show love and, pay the respects that Kanye helped, build his career.
I mean, he has taken shots at Ye, though. Let's not act like that hasn't happened.
I don't look at what he said as taking shots. He just told the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. If it feel like an uppercut, it's usually because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the truth is a shot.
Truth hurts.
Yeah, I'm about to say, sometimes the truth is a shot, just like stereotypes sometimes can be true. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not all stereotypes are like negatives. Like, some of the things like actually occur and are problematic, like in all aspects of all communities. So, people say Asians can't drive. I was on Buford Highway a couple days ago. Definitely getting flagged. Definitely getting flagged to start the new year. Great way to start. Let's get to some more super chats. Ill Magic with the $9.99. Shout out to Crimes. I heard on their live stream that Nas and Dot are supposed to drop something together this year. Here we go with this to start. This is what we're doing to start the year. This is what we're doing. This is how you want to spend your money. Okay. Gentlemen, any comments?
Who said that?
Ill Magic.
No, but I mean, where did he say he saw that? The source, though.
Thought Crimes.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
I don't even know what that is. There's so many different sources out there, man. Everyone wants to be a source to something that's possibly going to happen. I won't believe it till I see it. If you ain't hear from here, it doesn't exist. I'll put it like that.
Everybody's the plug now.
Everybody's the plug. Everybody.
Everybody's the plug. Everybody's the
Absolutely.
plug.
We're
Yeah.
going to talk about that later too.
All right, CJ the Kid with $18. Appreciate you, CJ. Also, Sean, I remember you said Dot didn't galvanize the West, but most podcasters and media disagree. Like I said, perception versus reality. Perception greater than reality. Also, get well, AG. You know,
I don't
CJ's
think I
been a
said
little
that.
bit, CJ's been a little bit spicier lately, especially with
I
you
don't
two
think I
guys.
said
I
that,
love
though.
it.
I don't think I
love
said
it.
that.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I don't think I
Sounds
said
like
that.
something. It sounds like something that you might say though. So
No,
It's somewhat
CJ,
that
shout
sounds
out to
about
CJ. CJ on brand because he be like at the Discord. So shout out to CJ, man.
yeah. No,
He's
get
on
too,
brand.
so
don't
CJ
get
is
too
spicy in
yeah.
the Discord. You
Oh
want
yeah,
to know what? I
What do you want to
promised
do?
you
16
would know
bars.
that if you were there, Coop.
Come on, man. It's 2025, man. 2 days in.
I'm just saying, like,
You got a point, though. You got a point.
I'm gonna
Wait,
give
let's
I'm
see
gonna
what
give I'm gonna give the Discord 16 bars every week at least 16 bars every week. Okay.
No, I think they're good.
I think I'm good. Shit.
Oh, we got a few more.
Coop once again acting like he the celebrity doing the club walkthrough.
Right.
All I'm saying is when I do come in the Discord, play the
Yo.
theme music.
He'll kick you out the back door.
No, play the belly intro, fool.
Yeah.
Play my belly intro. Play my belly intro. Put it up on the big screen. Put it up when I come through. Anyway, ING Butterfly Spark. The $5 super
It's
chat.
Ing.
First super chat.
Shout out to Ing.
What up, Ing?
Ing?
Ing. She been with us since the Station Head days. That's an OG right there.
Oh, what up, Ing?
OG from Brooklyn.
Okay, what up, BK? I see you. Happy New Year, everyone. It's Ing. Let's talk Brooklyn boy Joey Badass. It's competitiveness, but he's talking to the public and NYC as well.
Absolutely.
Ooh, we're about to get to that next. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let's get to the next couple of super chats, and then we need to slide to the Joey Badass. Unless you all have some more poetic that you'd like to wax about the Hit Boy.
Nah, let's get these super chats.
Okay.
People showing love. Show more love.
No more Corinthians and Leviticus. Okay. Do say Falco, $50 in the house. Appreciate you, player. Big 50. Happy New Year to everyone.
Damn, yo, appreciate that, bro. Salute.
And Trife. One more time. Happy New Year, everybody. Congrats
What up, Trife?
on the milestone of one episode for every track on Redman's album.
Only Trife, man.
I think that's great. How's the Muddy Waters 2 staying with y'all? Is the Muddy Waters 2 staying with y'all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm not gonna front.
Yeah,
part of me now it's too late, but part of me would probably put it in my top 20 now.
I've been meaning to condense it and cut out tracks, just put like a fire track list together, the joints I go back to, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to hear that when you do that.
But we're gonna talk about that album shortly anyway. So
okay.
T2, my man. Look at T2. T's so crazy.
Man, first of all, I want to say shout out to Jack and your whack ass list. I gave you some shine on Twitter today, Jack. Your list fucking sucks.
Nah, Jack's list was solid, bro. I rock with Jack's list over yours, Coop.
Man, it was solid. It was solid.
Okay. I stand with Jack.
Okay.
I stand with Jack.
Well, here's the thing about it. Nobody asked either one of you. All right.
I mean, your list is your list.
You want to know what? As much as this year feels new, this shit feels old to me. All right, let's go to Joey. Victory cigar for the Fighting Irish, who are about to beat Ohio State in the national championship in a couple weeks.
Right, so
we'll see what happens. So Joey Badass starts off the year with the Rulers Back freestyle. Some of these bars appear to be barbs aimed at Kendrick in most people's eyes. Sean, tell me how you're feeling about it.
I love it. Brooklyn, stand up. New York, stand up. Okay. I saw a lot of people talking about Joey. The Discord was talking about it a lot. I didn't get a chance to engage the Discord like I wanted to. But people need to understand Joey is a student of hip hop. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that people really fully get the fact that Joey can spit too. He can make music. He's a writer. He's a spitter. And he has every right to do what he's doing, setting the tone for 2025. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later as part of our other topics and everything. But the fact that people are trying to downgrade who Joey really is ridiculous. Can't listen to social media, man. You got to go out there and listen for yourself. Don't fall into that trap. Joey is a definite spitter, a great writer. He just doesn't have the name appeal as some of his peers.
I don't agree with that. What do you mean when you say? Hold on, I don't want to say I don't agree, but can you elaborate upon that a little bit more for me?
Because they don't talk about him in that pantheon at all. You don't hear Joey name pop up or circulate in that 3, or hear him circulate in the top 5 amongst his peer group. His peer group, they're a little bit more louder with regards to just the love that they're getting from really social media than anything else, and not so much as the craft or the art. Joey can spit with the best of them. Don't forget, Joey was one of the ones who actually responded back in the day when Kendrick dropped that verse. He was one of the ones that came out there. And again, a lot of people, they want to lean on to what they want to lean on to. But I'm glad that he came out. I'm glad that he was able to put some stuff out there. He said what he said. I hope he continue to move the momentum, and let's see what happens. Shout out to Joey.
AG.
Just kind of piggybacking off what Sean said. I think part of that why he's not mentioned with a lot of those guys is failure to remain in the public eye. You know what I mean? He's not a person who, releases projects consistently. You know what I mean? Kind of drops and, goes away. And he never did establish that major core fan base, in my opinion, you know what I mean, to build up off of that. But he's definitely a spitter. One of the best ones. I think guys like him and Dave East, don't get enough credit. But yeah, he's repping hard from New York, and how can you leave him out if you're talking about some of the best New York spitters right now, currently? Outside of Griselda, Joey's one of the first names that I would like to think people would run to. But he's been making waves this week. Unfortunately, initially it was for a fight that was caught on camera, and then after that, you got this freestyle. So really, Joey's name's in the public, more so than I've ever think it has been. Period. But I like this. I like the sport of it all. But you got to be willing to stand on when you say something like that. You know what I mean? Because regardless if he was talking to Kendrick or addressing the whole West Coast, you got to be ready for that response. You know what I mean? And I think it's a call to arms for New York rappers, you know what I'm saying, to step it up, to the East Coast. So I think that but yeah, so you got a lot of West Coast people that, has something to say about it.
Hold on. Is Joey top 10 for his
top
era?
10 what?
For his era, is he top 10? Let's say from when did Joey pop up? About he popped up the same time as like Trav and Kendrick and Cole and all them, right? Like he's around.
If you're just talking about spitters, I don't see how he's not in the top 10.
Right? That's
of his class, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so let's say we were like doing like the last 15 years. It's 2025 now. Let's go from 2010 to 2025. We have your obvious choices, which I think are Kendrick, Drake, Cole, I think Future.
Big Sean got to be in there.
Big Sean.
I'm with Sean being in there. ASAP.
I'm putting Joey over ASAP.
I prefer ASAP, but I think Joey is the better rapper of the two, even though I prefer ASAP. You know what I'm saying?
ASAP got more notoriety. He got more star power, but bar for bar, I'm taking Joey.
No. ASAP's bar work is strong.
I'm saying, but bar for bar, though, I'm taking Joey.
Yeah, I'm taking Joey.
I might take him barely, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes
no, it's not a landslide. No,
but it's not a celebration.
To be honest with you, like for me, it's like okay. So let's say, so that would be 6, 7. Who else would you put in Joey's stratosphere, other than the guys that we mentioned from his era?
From his class,
Crit, is he better than Crit to y'all?
To me, yes, but it's close.
There's not a lot of
Better-
separation there.
Okay,
But
better than Crit. Better than Wale.
To me, yes.
to me, yes. While they
But-
probably make a little bit of more crossover songs, of course.
But Wale
Yeah.
belongs in that 10 as well. But
Yeah.
to the point I was getting to,
Yeah, but
everybody
looking
you
like-
named, it's
Yeah.
only two New Yorkers,
Yeah, Wale is different.
ASAP and Joey. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and neither one of them would make the top 5 most likely, unless you would put one of them ahead of Sean. Is Joey better
Right.
than Sean?
No,
Right. I don't think he's better than Sean either.
no. But I like what he's doing. He's throwing his ring into the hat, though, because like I said, out of all those people, it's only ASAP and Joey really representing the newer class from you know what I'm saying, the New York side of things. So I mean, I like what he's doing, but you got to be ready for the repercussions. The same way that Kendrick dropped Control, you got to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? And all the responses that come with it. So Joey got to be ready for all the stuff that's going to come his way. So you say that stuff intentionally, and let's not get it twisted. It's an old J bar. You know what I'm saying? That really got people tight. You know what I'm saying? From 22 twos. So he knew what he was doing when he said that bar, because he's like, we're going to revisit this again because this, you know, this West Coast, you know what, is happening right now in 2024. You know, going into 25.
They had
So-
the most. They had the most albums on my top 20 list, and I didn't
Right.
even include Larry June's album.
Right. And when Jay said it in 96, the West Coast was running it. So it's like, you know, if the shoe fits, wear it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, truthfully, I mean, the West actually ran the better part of the 90s until Tupac got killed.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Some people, it might rub them the wrong way. And Joey, like, he got to stand on that. I'm not discrediting that at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? For the sport of it, you know, like, throw your ring into, because put it this way, right? Nobody would even consider Joey Badass to like even take shots at Kendrick, or even, because when this whole Drake thing happened, everybody's like, well, I'd like to see Kendrick in the game. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see Kendrick in the Lupe. I'd like to see, you know, Kendrick and this person, that person. Nobody was even thinking about Joey, but Joey's like, shit, nobody else will step up.
I'm here.
I'll step up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so we like the move because it's a good rep move. It's a good competitive move. He's dope enough and nice enough to take these shots into box, and so overall, it's a good look because this is what hip hop is competitively based on.
I don't think there's nothing behind it. I don't think it's nothing like really. Some people might think it's clout chasey. Some people might think, you know, I don't think
too big. I think he's too big for this to be clout chasey, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he has an actual problem with Kendrick or anybody on the West for that matter. But I do think he's ready for the sport of it. Because like I said, Joey is somebody who don't really drop like that, or he drop and he kind of disappear. But if he feeling a certain kind of way, if he's sitting on some heat, if he's like saying like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. And I'm willing to take out whoever, you know what I'm saying? Because that the way Joey is rapping is the way we thought Cole was going to be. That's how Cole's talk was for these past few years that, you know, that led to the apology.
No. Expound upon that a little bit more for me.
Cole was rapping like, anybody come at me, I'm tearing your head off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you're saying Joey's approach to this has been what Cole's approach has been, which is what has made people for the better part of the last few years, even without a classic album, and told that he's the best MC based on, you know, the versatility and array of bars that he's been given on these guest shots.
Well, Cole got a better resume than Joey, because people would tell you Forest Hills Drive is a classic, but he's doing, you know, to me, it's very similar.
Oh, I mean, for me, like, Cole got 3 albums better than Joey's best album, and we talk about Cole's catalog and how it's not, you know, maybe sometimes what we like it to be, his hip hop purists, old heads, like whatever.
But I'm glad you said that, Coop, because it's like, all right, even if Cole does got 3 albums better than Joey's best output, that doesn't take away his ability to throw his name out there into the ring. For me, you know what I mean? I think anybody should be able to challenge as a contender. You know what I'm saying? You might not be the number 1 contender, You know what I'm
Oh,
saying,
no.
on the board.
No. The fight need to get sanctioned because I'm gonna tell you what. You know, one of the most important things about the takeover is how Jay ended it, and it's when he said, "And for all y'all other cats throwing shots at Jigga, y'all only get
Yeah,
half a
half a
bar,
bar.
y'all."
Talked about
And
this morning with one of my
you
homies.
want to,
Yep.
because
He can say that. Though.
what he did. Okay, so the most beautiful thing about the takeover isn't even the bars, because in the bars are just vicious, but the perspective is the most stellar thing about the takeover. And when he said that, he classified himself and declassified those other people like that were like taking those shots. It's like the only person that really deserves this smoke is Prodigy. And just because I know who this other guy is and I feel like he might be falling off and he might be having some personal problems and I feel like I might be able to go ahead and take him off the board. Oh no, these dudes deserve these shots. The rest of you dudes don't even deserve shots. Don't even think that we're on the same level. And that's why I was asking you if you think Joey is top 10, because Kendrick's reply might be like, hey, don't play yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so I
I don't
just want
think
to make
Kendrick
sure that we
replied.
feel like
I think reply.
Joey is nice enough to
I'll tell you
engage.
this. One, I
Yes.
don't think Kendrick
He's nice
replies. I
enough to
think
engage.
somebody else from like TD or somebody gets at him. I don't think Kendrick comes out for Joey. But what I think Kendrick might treat Joey kind of like how Drake treated Joe Budden. But Joe was going directly at Drake. But here's the thing, though. Remember how a couple of weeks ago we had all that talk about like if Wayne and Dot went at it? Tell you what, I think that Joey's more suited to go at Dot than Wayne is.
Why?
Because like,
Because I mean, I'm saying that because I mean, we all know that like Joey is not like
just
as
like
great as
that type
Wayne
of
is.
talk, you know, we say you talk heavy, like that type of talk. Like, and no disrespect to Wayne, I love Lil Wayne. He's just outside of my top 10. But if you doing that type of talk and you addressing somebody and you really trying to like take it there, like Wayne, a lot of his stuff is not coherent. It's like not one coherent thought. He's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Joey,
That's cool. He's abstract. You're right. Bars are
right?
very abstract.
That's not an excuse though, man. You can't get that to him because you can't come out and say that I'm the greatest rapper of all time. I'm this and I'm that. I'm one of them, and then you're going to come back and say that he's too abstract. Nah, just say what it is. He's not talented enough. He doesn't have enough ammo to
Hold
I
shoot
don't
on,
at.
think
hold on,
it's
hold on,
talent.
hold
I
on,
don't think
hold
it's
on, Sean.
talent.
Hold on,
And that's not
Sean.
what Coop said.
I'm gonna push
Yes.
back, Sean, because your number 2 rapper of all time is Ghost. How more abstract does it get other than Ghost and Wayne?
But
That's true.
I'm talking about as far as battling.
Yeah, but do you see what I'm saying? Like Joey would be more surgical and could
I
dissect
get
things
you.
that
He's more of a classic fundamental battle rapper.
right. That's not Wayne. Wayne would be all over the place, man, trying to like go at somebody, bro. Like it,
Exactly. I mean,
So
he's
you're
not. He
worried about the
doesn't
coach.
have.
So
He
so so
doesn't
see,
you're
have.
Sean, you using this opportunity to be disrespectful. I before I said what I said no disrespect,
First of
and then
all,
you take my quote and use it as disrespect. That's crazy.
Sean
How
uses
is that
every
disrespectful?
opportunity possible
How
to
is
show
how is that
disrespect.
disrespect?
Okay,
How is that disrespect when I say he doesn't
so
have the? He
You
doesn't
that's
just
have.
enough.
said Wayne wasn't talented.
I'm talking about yeah,
Not
as a
talented enough. He said he wasn't talented enough.
enough.
Okay,
What is
but
one
that's
of
still wrong.
Right,
what is one
right.
of the how is that wrong? What
Scale
is
the
hold
disrespect
up,
back,
Because you
AG.
guys are saying you
You
guys
thought the disrespect was at an 8. It's just at a
listen
6.5.
because you guys are okay. So now we're going to do this then. So you guys are you saying you hip hop heads. What is one of the pillars of hip hop?
Storytelling,
What else?
Lyricism.
The
lyrics.
ability to battle, right? What
Yeah.
was hip hop
No,
based
no,
off
no,
of?
no, 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 no.
What's it based
Battling
off
is
of?
no. The whole culture itself is actually based off of battling in a
It's a
creative
pillar.
manner instead of using violence. So battling
It's
is part of the
it's a
core fundamental.
pillar.
Actually, battling is the core fundamental of this culture,
Yes.
even before the
Yes.
rapping occurred. Even
Yes.
before the
So
rapping occurred, yes.
yes. So Wayne cannot be exempt from that. That means
No, no, no.
he
I'm not
lacks
saying he's exempt.
Are we exempting him? Do you think we're
No,
exempting him?
no, Sean. I wasn't saying that. My thing with Wayne it's not that he's not talented enough. I just don't think a coherent thought like to craft a track is not in his wheelhouse. A lot of people don't talk about Family Matters enough. The way Drake dismantled, like he lost the battle, so don't kill me in the chat. But the way he picked apart every one of the people he was beefing with, he went at like 5 or 6 people in that record. The way he picked it apart over the course of the Family Matters track, I don't think Wayne is capable of doing that.
So that means he
Okay,
lacks
but hold on.
talent to do it. That's what
Hold
I'm
on.
saying. And
Hold
that's
on.
not shitting on him at all.
No, but you want to know
He's
what?
limited. He's limited.
Here's where both of you, I think, like have a point somewhere in the middle of what I just heard, is very much the fact that one of the failures I feel like Drake had in the battle against Kendrick is that he actually spent energy on the rest of the guys. Like,
True.
none of the guys deserved any attention except for Future, and Future actually should have gotten the same kind of treatment that maybe Nas got on the Takeover, where it's really about Prodigy.
But that's the petty in Drake, though. Drake's petty, though.
Yeah. No. I get that, but when you're in a battle, it's the same failure that Jay had, because when you go back and listen to the Takeover, I'm like, it still confounds me to this day, and I'm like, and you're talking about Prodigy for 2 verses instead of Nas for 2 verses. It's like, are you really, like, if you go, because once you're gonna pull the card, it's like, no, like, go ahead and go, fam. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead.
Right.
Like, if the takeover is 4 verses, the first 3 verses should have been about Nas. The 4th verse should have been about Prodigy, and then the fuck y'all niggas bar at the end. That's how it should have went. Like in terms of like how the Art of War, in terms of winning in the Art of War.
But in real time, like Sean said, we thought Nas was killed with the 1, and we Nas fans.
It's easy to say in hindsight, cool. But who was going at Jay in real time? It was Prodigy. Prodigy was dumping all over Jay. We think HNIC was. HNIC
No.
dumping all over Jay.
No. And Prodigy is nice
Bar
enough
seminar.
on the mic.
Keep it thorough.
He's nice enough on the mic that he deserves the attention. And Sean, you probably know this better than I do. There are still people in New York, probably around the time that Jay is dropping the Takeover, that think Prodigy is a better MC than Jay.
Yes.
There are people walking around like that around that time.
Cool.
In New York.
Jay
know that too.
Jay had to feel that way until HNIC didn't do the numbers that it was projected to do. That's when Jay was like, "Oh, you went gold? Psh, I got you now."
You want to know what happened too? Prodigy dropped "Keep It Thorough." I can remember like when he dropped that, like the climate literally had changed like right around the time that dropped, and I think that's part of what happened too. Because as great as the record is, it's like I still look at that and I'm like, shouldn't have made that the first single though. Like definitely should have dropped it. But it should have been like there should have been a different approach, because like it had changed right in front of him. Like
we leaving out one key element, and this is a nice sidebar, but we leaving out one key element. Prodigy played himself by letting them release that on a Rockefeller label release, the Backstage, as a single. That's your lead single.
Yeah, with Clue. Yeah.
Before HNIC even came out. So then Jay came behind that, and like Jay was playing chess, dog. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. But Sean, to your point though, I do see what you're saying. And I agree. I just wasn't trying to be disrespectful about it. But Wayne has the name recognition, the superstar power to go at Kendrick. But what I'm saying is Joey Badass has in his wheelhouse the technical ability to, like, you know what I'm saying, really battle and spar on a level that Wayne doesn't possess.
So that is very problematic for me, because what you were saying is that in order to beat Kendrick, you actually need Joey Badass's technicality with Lil Wayne's star power, which really does make him boogeyman like. Are you telling me it's like that?
Yeah, I didn't buy into the whole boogeyman thing until like this battle happened, because to me it wasn't nothing done before that to really prove it.
Me neither.
But he lived up to it.
There was no bar work, but we have quantifiable facts now, don't we?
Yeah. Before that, I wouldn't say that it was.
That? You like that, don't you, Sean? How I used your quantifiable facts and gave Kendrick props at the same time. Trademark. Look at me growing.
Trademark.
That's
trademark. Trademark is wild. Whoa. Did you just TM me? When we're doing the same podcast together, what in the...
No, that's for us. That's for us. Just in case.
Wow. That's what I'm saying. No. Everybody else, hey.
Yeah.
At the house.
This guy. He too said people crashing out on you on other shows and everything, and we ain't talk about people in a long time, and they still crashing out over cool. But that's the end
Are
of
you
it.
serious?
So I said a long time, and it's been like 2 weeks.
Was it?
Freestyle.
No,
We're not still having these issues, are we?
that's what T2 said, but that's in here. No, that's like I don't want to get a side.
Yeah, let's not get sidebar. But
No.
Let me ask y'all
People need to
this.
grow up. Let go, grow
Let me
up.
ask y'all this.
The
Do
new
y'all
year.
think it's all about? My Wiz just texted me, said, why AG say he's incoherent? You talking about I'm hating, you say Wayne is incoherent.
Not incoherent. That's
no,
just
I think a lot of that was the drugs.
Yeah, but who fault is that? His bad. Like, stop doing drugs.
I mean, okay. See, this is my thing with the drugs. When a painter, like when Picasso has like one of his periods and does like abstract art, or when Salvador Dali um melts freaking watches and on canvas in real time and stuff like that, and it's influenced by drugs, and it's like we don't have a problem when it's like in that form, but when Wayne does it, it is not as brilliant because I equate it to like very much to what Salvador Dali does as a painter when Wayne kind of like goes on his abstract rants.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah, if it wasn't for the drugs, I don't think we get some of the metaphors that we got from Wayne.
You got to pick a side.
Right. Like when he says shit like straw, like come on, baby, let the Carter make you toss you like a fruit salad, strawberry grape. You like when he says stuff like that, it's like it's not your typical fundamental technical bar that a Joey Badass is going to give, but
Right.
it is thoughtful and abstract, and it does offer something different to the game, and you do have to respect that. And even with all that said, who's to say he would approach the battle that way?
So check it. Okay.
Check it.
So now you're talking about
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You're talking about weight class at this point now. Because every fight there's a weight class. So what it sounded to me, you guys are saying that Joey might not be in K Dot's weight class based on popularity, right? Because
it's not no might. He's not.
He's not,
and
right?
it's funny,
Because
because I'm hearing y'all tell me that Wayne isn't the really like heavyweight MC like in the ring that Kendrick is, which actually makes me think. And I have
that's why I got Kendrick ranked higher than Wayne.
I'm about to say, and I actually have Wayne one slot ahead of Kendrick, which makes me think y'all think Kendrick is better than Wayne.
I do.
Okay, I don't agree.
Look, man, there was a time.
I mean, it's not a whole lot of separation between the two of them.
I have them right next
but
to each other.
What I value more in an MC, Kendrick possesses over Wayne.
See, that's the thing about it. How about this? Like, how about this?
That's a complete
of
MC.
all the all-time great MCs, Wayne is probably the biggest outlier style-wise, even from Ghost, because Ghost does have the New York fundamentals that I think you guys are talking about. I call them New York fundamentals because it's where hip hop was originated. I'm not saying that to like saying that it's only like exists there. I'm just saying like that the fundamentals of the culture started there. And so Ghost has fundamental tendencies, has an MC even throughout all the abstract rants, and it can get very, very abstract with Ghost too.
But Ghost is a great storyteller, as is Kendrick. And that's something. That's a box that Wayne doesn't check.
I agree. I think Ghost is a top 5 storyteller. I think Ghost is a top 5 storyteller, and I don't even know if I would have Wayne in the top 20, and I probably would have Kendrick in the top 10 at this point. So that's fair.
And then the battle box that we're talking about, Kendrick has that checked in spades, and then Wayne doesn't.
There's a lot of boxes that we're talking about. He's not checking. There's no
discography. I'm going Kendrick.
I don't know if I'm doing that. I feel like the discography is more of a draw.
Even then,
counting the mixtapes.
Mixtapes it will go to Wayne, but
no, I'm saying, are you counting mixtapes when you're talking the discography?
No, I'm just talking about like retail discography. But but even they both got hits. And this is a nice sidebar conversation, but like lyricism, I think you have to pick Kendrick, right? I mean, I don't see how you would pick.
Your words is more coherent.
Okay, so let me submit a couple things to you. So I do agree that Kendrick is the better storyteller.
Yeah.
Are you sure he's the better lyricist? Are you
I mean, I
sure
would put
about
my
that?
money on it.
Okay, like okay, so where do you have like evidence of that? Because Wayne does have like bar work that is like this is what I keep on saying. No, no, no. Wayne has had rhyme of the year worthy stuff a
Wayne is
lot
a
of years.
beast. Wayne is a beast.
A
But
lot of years. No, no,
does
no.
Wayne
Listen, hold
have
on,
a
hold on, hold on. AG. Listen to what I'm saying. Not a few years. Like think about how long Wayne been rapping. There have been a lot of years where Wayne has had rhyme of the year contender verses, and Kendrick does not have that. So are
that's
you
fair.
sure he's a better lyricist?
But I go back to my initial coherent
He's
statement
definitely more
and
abstract.
how it's like pieced together. Like, would you pull any Wayne verse and say he has a joint like nostalgia anywhere? How that was coherently pieced
What as
together
far
and
as like
still made lyrical bar work and all that. You know what I'm saying?
You keep saying
oh, as
coherent.
far as like a guest appearance, like a 16?
It could be on his own album. It don't have to be a guest appearance. I'm just saying, like, I'm just asking because I can't think of none off the top
Oh,
of my
okay.
head.
I get what you're saying. Something where he approaches it like scheme and theme wise, and makes the coherent point all make sense at the end, like in a very brief
The way
abbreviated
it's
amount of
stitched
time.
together, that's why I said that's kind of needed in the realm of a battle. I
Okay,
think.
I think okay, so I think Kendrick might be a better writer, but I don't know if he's a better lyricist. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying that I think like for me, I would call it a draw on the lyricism, but I would give
Yeah.
Kendrick the edge on writing because he's a better storyteller,
Huh?
has more thought provoking content.
Well, Wayne can lean
You
on
know,
the fact that he doesn't write. So there you go. Because
I mean, you get what I'm saying though.
no, but
That's
I'm
You get
saying
what
like,
I'm saying.
that's
I mean,
coherent.
So
he
okay,
says
so
he doesn't write.
so let's say that it's like okay, so who's the more charismatic character?
Oh, easy, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the
Power
better
points is
guest appearance? Who's the better guest appearance artist?
Come on now, Wayne.
Wayne. He got
Who's
more to
who?
pull from.
Kendrick doesn't
Who's
have enough.
who's the bigger? Who's the bigger icon with with more kids in the game?
Definitely Wayne.
And so he's
Coop ain't
like
shit.
that's why. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. I'm only saying this because the reason that I have them so close is that there are boxes that Kendrick checks over
No,
Wayne. I
I get it.
acknowledge those, but Wayne also has boxes that he
Yeah,
checks over Kendrick. Like,
and yeah,
let's not go to hits. Let's not go to hits
right.
because this would
It's
be
not
one
a
of
lot
those
of
things where
separation because I got
this would
Kendrick
be
at 10 and Wayne is my number 11. So it's not
it's
a lot of separation.
okay. So I have them like 11 and 12. So I have like Wayne at
Yeah,
11 and like Kendrick at 12. But it's also one of those things too that if we were to do a versus, it's like go ahead and take Kendrick over Wayne if you want to. You are in all kinds of
that would
trouble
be tough. That
because
would be
that
a
man
hard day for Kendrick. That would be a
because
Yeah.
that
hard,
man
long
has
day for
so
Kendrick.
because that man has so many
Hmm.
hits and
Yeah,
bangers, and also listen to what I'm about to say. Works within the realm of a group better because started off doing group work.
Mhm.
yeah. But let's go back to the original point. Even with that said, with them two being close in the MC rankings, don't y'all agree that Joey would be better, even though he's not in the weight class? Don't you
Mhm.
think with his skill set, he's better equipped to get in the ring with Kendrick if it came down to that?
Bar for bar, rhyme for rhyme without social media involved. Yes.
That's a nice caveat
Yes.
because social media will remind him that he's not in the weight class.
He's not going
Hey,
to
hey,
get the
hey!
popular vote.
I
He's
lost,
just
I
not going to
lost,
get the
I
popularity
lost,
vote.
I lost the super chat on my thread, Sean. Like, pull up the
I
super
got you.
chat.
We got a few. We got several actually.
Yeah, go ahead,
Y'all
run
ready?
the super chats right quick. Yeah, let's get to the
All
super
right.
chats.
Let me go to the last one. We got CJ the
There it
Kid.
is.
You see it?
Glasses Malone, Dial at AD from Community, and Hitta J3 already responded to Joey though. Malone already saying it's a diss to the whole West Coast.
So be it. Do
That's what I
something.
was about to say. So be it. What's the next one? CJ the Kid. Speaking of the West, thanks for another $20, CJ. Speaking of the West, do you guys consider Doechii and SZA West Coast artists due to TDE, similar to how they considered Rage and Corrupt West Coast artists because of Death Row? Well, Corrupt actually spent time in California because he went to high school with Snoop, if I'm not mistaken. because they battled when
All
they were in
together.
high school. So I believe Corrupt actually spent some time in Cali. Now I know Rage is from Virginia. I believe Snoop found Rage when he was on tour. And although Rage has repped Death Row, Rage has never really repped the West. And if you'll notice, was never
True.
involved in any of the East Coast West Coast conflict. And part of that is because she's from
True.
Virginia and has always like really actually repped that. So.
They were just in the
Yeah,
camp
she's
together.
just down with Snoop. She's down with Snoop. She's down with Death Row via Snoop. But really,
Yeah.
like her affiliation is via Snoop. But she reps VA outside of like Snoop and whatever it is that Snoop got going on. So
Yeah.
let's go. We got more super chats. Okay, that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. CJ the Kid. Chat said Game is making 700 bars and running for Joey as we speak. That's nasty work.
I hope not.
Nasty work.
I can see that.
I actually can't see that. That's wild. The Raisin Head. Joey or 38. 38 fairly easily has an MC in my opinion. I like the way 38 talks more than I like the way Joey talks. But I don't. Oh, that's
Joey's
tough,
better
actually,
lyrically, man. I'm gonna just call it what it is. Joey's better lyrically.
Yeah, you got to respect Joey, man.
Joey's put in the work that I'm going to give him the advantage because of the work. But 38's coming, guys. He's nice.
Yeah,
he's nice.
38's fly with it, but like I think Joey digs a little bit deeper. Like where I think just his lyrics.
Yeah,
I think it's more to him.
He's a student of hip hop. I mean, we'll get into
I don't want to say 38 is surface level, but Joey does more with the pen, bro. He does.
We'll see what happens in the next couple of years. I think that was an interesting question, even though I'm still going to give Joey the advantage as well. Raisin Head, again, with the $4.99 super chat. Abstract is Ghost saying that he was just making up ish for Supreme Clientele. In 2001, Prodigy wasn't nice enough to spar with Jay. 95 to 2000, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I agree with
But we didn't know that till it happened. We saw the fall off in real time.
We did.
Right.
It happened like overnight.
Yeah, like that super chat. That's a revisionist history super chat.
Yeah.
Because there are people that felt like Prodigy was as nice or nicer than Jay.
It happened.
Even around the time.
Remember,
even around
Murder
the time
Music is 99.
Yeah.
Murder Music is 99. H&IC, although it's not like a classic record or nothing, is 2000. Nobody was saying in 2000, going into 2001, yo, Prodigy not like that. Nobody was saying that.
That's why Jay got so
Infamy was the first we heard of that.
And that's why Jay got
months and months after.
Right. It's easy to say it now, but that's why Jay got applauded so hard because he went at Prodigy. He put the Summer Jam stuff on the Summer Jam screen. That's why Jay became a real threat because it felt
let's not act like Prodigy wasn't killing the joints on QB's Finest.
Killing everything. He's killing everything.
Killed everything on QB's Finest.
Yeah.
Killed everything on QB's Finest.
And we have one more.
CJ the Kid. Jack said Joey versus Dot is like Jaheim versus Usher.
Jack is crazy, man.
First of all.
It's crazy.
That's not even, that's not wrong.
Yo, Jack, I got a pod name for you. Wild Takes and Whack List with Jack. There we go. Wild Takes and Whack List with Jack. There you go, Jack.
Jack, you not wrong, but you wild for that analogy.
You can have that one for free, Jack. You can have that one for free. Yeah. Jack's a wild boy. We're gonna have to do something about Jack.
He really is.
Speaking of a wild boy, guys, Elliott Wilson. Wild.
Yo, man.
What Esco say? These are our heroes.
These are our heroes.
First of all, I don't want you all to say anything. I'd like to take a moment and have a little soliloquy time.
Let's go.
You know what Cooper Justice's glasses is gonna be some shit.
Yeah. But you know when he takes his glass off, he don't see anything, so that's when he's zoning out. He goes, it's like Daredevil. Like Daredevil. Just see like sonars and shit. Sonars and hate.
Right. Like when Cyclops take off his glasses, the hate just goes everywhere.
You don't see anything. He's like Daredevil, man. You
control
just see sonars and hate, like Kendrick face.
So all I'd like to say is that I tried to tell you niggas. I tried to tell you about him. I've been saying this about his hating ass for a couple of years, and you know what I've been called? A hater. That's because a hater knows a hater when he sees one. I know when I'm dealing with a hater.
So you're not denying the allegations on yourself. You're just saying that, like,
I
You
told
see
you
the hate clearly. Look, hold on. Especially when I put the glasses on, I see. Oh, I'm like, oh, that is big hate right over there. And all I've been saying the entirety of this time is like, this guy used to be a journalist, and now he's a media personality. And now all of a sudden, 2 years later, everybody want to pop up and have a journalist versus media personality ass conversation based on this drunk, hating ass nigga that I said was a hating ass nigga. And not only a hating ass nigga that done bit a lot of my shit too. Now he may not have liked how I've executed. That doesn't mean take my shit because you don't like how I execute. That is neither here nor there. Hate.
I thought just alike.
I've actually let y'all have it today.
Yeah.
This ain't about me. All right?
You just made it about you. You just said that you what are you talking about?
Definitely about me, okay? Definitely about me. Hate this nigga. But somebody needs to tell him to write an article and maybe get off of the camera, so much. Those are my thoughts. Maybe write an article. Maybe get back to the core of what made you who you are. I can always count on AG to break down the intricacies, so I just like to give synopsises at this point. AG, go ahead.
I'll
23
be
times
honest.
the ass nigga.
I've never been, now, granted, I was a fan of Double XL, but once I got to learn who Elliott was, I never really liked him as a personality. You know what I mean? He has his allegiances and he, does a lot of tap dancing for certain people. He gets a little too giddy around certain rappers for me. You know what I'm saying? So I've never been a big fan of his, but for who he is to the culture and the era that he established himself during, and who now is an OG status, it's kind of disappointing to see him move like this. You know what I mean? For people, to have comeuppance and then you're hating on how they're getting it. Like, you have to evolve. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you got more competition in this sphere now, but you have to evolve and make yourself dope all over again. Don't hate on the next man because of how they're getting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, he should be praising what Cam and Mase are doing, because being a journalist and covering them in hip hop, he should be saying, yo, I'm proud of you brothers for transitioning into a secondary career after you hung the microphone up. But instead, they like, okay, you eating off of my plate or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just really hater-like, and it's disappointing. He should be congratulating those guys. Take that picture down, Sean. He should be congratulating those guys. And and he's, I don't know. For me, it was more disappointing than anything to hear him talk that way. And shout out to Roy and Maul, and I think the lady's name is Damaris on there. They were really firing those tough questions at him. They was telling him straight up to his face, like, "Yo, bro, you sound like a hater." You know what I mean? And they was really, holding his feet to the fire on the pod. But I don't know. And Cam, once Cam ain't gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna keep applying pressure, you know what I'm saying, to Elliott. But the thing that I like that they brought up on the pod is, how are you getting mad at rappers who have relationships with other rappers, that lending to them getting certain interviews and so on and so forth? How are you hating on them now for their relationships, getting them interviews, when you use to leverage your relationships to get interviews over other journalists? You know what I'm saying? Now that somebody else is doing it, you have a problem with it. So it's I don't know, bro. It's just nasty work to move like that. And I think he's gonna suffer behind this. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people looked at him as corny anyway. But I think this is going to be another blemish on his jacket, for real.
Look, man, you said you were disappointed. He is who he is, and at the end of the day, I'm glad he mentioned Cam, because Cam ain't going to stop. you know, and someone needs to check him. Here's the thing, fellas, about the journalist versus the media personality. And I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Before I get into that, shout out to the chat. We got one of the best chats in the pod game. You guys are very active. We argue, we disagree, but we show love. So we appreciate the chat first and foremost. And thank you for the super chats as well. But what I want to say here is the thing about Elliott, you know, he's a journalist. And a lot of journalists have lost the I don't know what happened to Coop. I think Coop didn't want to hear this conversation because Coop think he's a journalist sometimes. The journalist, the journalist thing is dead because what you listen to in podcasting, you listen to someone that you can gravitate to. And unfortunately, and sometimes fortunately, no one cares about the facts anymore. They don't care about what's right and what's wrong. They only care about the entertainment piece of it, right? And people throw the word journalism out there so loosely. And it's not such animal. There's no so much such animal as a journalist anymore, anyhow. Even when Elliott was, you know, in the major game of journalism in its heyday, he was one of those that kept the information sacred, meaning there were information that he withheld just to be able to spin the narrative in the favor of who they wanted to protect, right? So now you're talking about journalistic integrity is already compromised.
You spitting right now, bro. I'm just saying.
See what I'm saying? So if the journalistic integrity is compromised in print from WXL or whoever else, then you're only doing it a different way than what they're doing today. So now you got social media personalities. You got Cam, you got Mase, you got Cool, you got others out there. You know, even local pods out there who are doing their thing. Those in the same spirit that we're in. Everyone has a personality that you gravitate to. People gravitate to Coop because they want to hear Coop say some outlandish, wild stuff. They want to see Coop say certain things that get under their skin, but they still pull up so they can argue with Coop, right? That's a personality. That doesn't mean that Coop's going to be and go and interviewing and getting notes and everything from different artists or different people just to come back out here and say, well, I got this scoop on this, this, and this. He's sharing his opinion as a fan of hip hop. All of us in this space, we are part of the body of hip hop. So we have an opinion. So now what's happening is the journalists who only had the voice in the game at one point because they had the power of the pen, meaning they were writing these, you know, reviews on albums and they were getting paid dollar, you know, saying who doing what. When they were doing all of that, they were the only voice. But now you got others out there in the space that's sharing their opinion, and their opinion is being heard by the masses. That makes you a threat. And that's where Elliott is at right now. He's threatened because his voice no longer matters. His voice is just another voice in the sea of people.
So, do you mind if I share something? You mind if I share something honestly with you, gentlemen? And I love everything that you just said, Sean. And I was like, while I was getting like reset up, I was listening to you on the iPad talk still. I just muted it like when I pulled back up. So I was listening to everything you were saying while I was gone. And you're like 100% spot on. I'm not joking when I'm exaggerating when I'm saying this is actually one of your best takes. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm a writer by trade and by nature and by gift from God. And so I know specifically why his ego is getting in the way and causing all of this, because I can't front. When Cam and Mase started their pod, I was thinking like, damn, I was like, that's another rap dude like taking up space in this space that I'm trying to make a name for myself in. And here's the thing about it though. My intent was never to make a name for myself in this space. I am a writer by trade. The podcast that the other network has started based on an article that I wrote, guys. My original intention, Sean, you will love this, was to be the Ghostface Killer of hip hop writers. I didn't want anybody to see my face or know my name. I was writing under my middle name. That's why if you ever see my stuff pull up on Google or anything, it says Colin Damar. Those are my middle names. I never intended for anybody to know Ahmad Cooper. The plan was to write under my writing handle and do it that way. He is somebody like I'm in this space because I wrote something and we got more traction from me talking about it than me writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
He is somebody that has traction based on the things that he has written and built.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has an avenue, quite frankly. How about this? Not that he has a different avenue that you and I or any of the three of us has, but let's keep this shit funky. We're more still like on a 2 or 3 lane road and he's operating on a super highway. He doesn't have to be a media personality. He has chosen to be a media personality because, quite frankly, there's more money in doing that now than there is in writing. Let's call a
Absolutely.
spade a spade. So this is a financial decision because if it was about the game and it was about the integrity of the game, and we wouldn't even be having this journalist versus media personality conversation because he, much like me, is a journalist by trade, and way more people know about his journalistic writings than mine. Like by literally millions in leaps and bounds. And so there is somebody like me that sits in the same space with him now that really never wanted to sit in this space, like would prefer to be writing for something the caliber of a double XL and be married to somebody who ends up being the editor in chief of Vibe magazine. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, no, like those of us who are black journalists, you have had a path and a life that most of us envy. So watching you go out like this is just nasty. Literally nasty. Like, really? Like, when you don't have to do this, you just need to tap back into your pen, nigga, because people already. Really?
It's not respected anymore. His pen is not respected anymore.
I
It's
would rather.
compromised.
I mean, and I mean this. I mean this wholeheartedly. If I could get the same traction writing 4 to 8 articles a month as I do doing podcasts, I probably wouldn't be doing podcasts, guys. Because
Right.
writing is really my passion. Like, not being funny about it, just like in terms of personal preference. If it was doing, if my writing was doing the same thing that the podcast was doing, I probably wouldn't be doing the podcast. The podcast was never the intent anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And quite
Well,
frankly, to give the other guy some credit, the podcast also wasn't my idea. He did pick up the phone and call me one day and ask if I wanted to talk about it. I didn't call him asking to talk about this shit because the plan was to be Ghostface Killer. Ski
Right.
mask way.
well, to cap off what both of you said, made some good points. Let's look at the life Elliott chose, because if we're talking about real journalism, a journalist's job with, Sean spoke to journalistic integrity, is to report the facts. And then when you choose to like go over and be a media personality, then you leave that behind because, you know what I'm saying, we're all, like Sean said, talking heads and we're just giving opinions. We just a bunch of cats that love hip hop giving our opinions, and then people, we're gracious to have you here, pull up and listen to us. But that in and of itself is not journalism. It's not true journalism.
Not.
So, and then, you said you wanted to be Ghostface Killer, Coop. I was talking earlier about how Elliott is looked at like the corny dude. He probably would have did himself a better service because he had built up this legend behind his pen in print media. But when he chose to step out from behind that and become a media personality, keying on the camera and doing all that, is when like you hurting your own brand, in my opinion. And he probably feels like he needed to do that for the rap radars and all that stuff of the world. But in my opinion, you hurt your brand and how people looked at you and held you up in this game.
Okay,
Because
so
everybody shouldn't be in front of the camera. And I'm not going to I'm not going to sit here and act like I should be in front of the camera, because this is something that was presented to me as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just a fan of this. But he made the choice of himself to be in front of the camera and be a media personality. So this is the life he chose. And if he losing, that's his fault.
So AG, so now so now I want to get into a psychological component of this. And you'll understand this too. Both of you will. Most writers are fucking nerds.
Most of them, yeah.
At the end of it, guys, like at my core. Oh no, I'm just a nerdy guy. Like, and here's what I mean, I'm a nerdy guy. If I could literally just spend my time reading books and writing, and that's all I would do, I'm completely okay with that. And I know
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, due to life circumstances, environmental situations, family that I come from on both sides, oh, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? But at the core, would prefer to be that. And sometimes when a writer steps outside of a writer's box, part of why most great writers are great writers because the person isn't the type of person that fits into a box that a socialite would fit into. And that's what being a media personality requires. It's like, and even I've had to accept some things. It's like, oh no, I might have a better personality than a better pen. And that's maybe why the podcasting thing took off way quicker than the writing thing did, even though I still do the writing thing. You get what I'm saying? He needs to accept that because he is a corny, nerdy ass guy, that the media personality thing doesn't work as well as the dope hip hop writer thing, and somebody needs to tell him. That's all. That's all
I
that
think
needs to
he,
happen.
I think he knows it, Coop. I just think that when people like that are so corny, they can't change from that. You can't change corny, right? Because the industry ties that he has, he could easily put himself in position and let those relationships that he made, let them talk. He don't have to be a personality. He can just honestly be someone to have a platform to bring all the connections that he's had. He can do shows on Double XL and why they went the routes that they went and why they were catching up with the source and all of those things. When you, like you said earlier, Coop, as a writer, even I used to write a lot. When I first joined the military, I used to write. I had a journal. I used to always write, whether it was lyrics, poems, whatever. It was my way of getting all of my emotions from the military out. It was my way of communicating to myself. And in that moment, I built an ego because when I started realizing I could write and I knew the power of words and how to sway conversations, it was like I got the bargaining power now. I can have any conversation and get myself out of that conversation or whatever that may be.
So this is what I mean
You're a
about his,
swindler.
no. So this is what I mean about his ego. So Sean, Andrew will tell you this. Oh, I'll never forget being in 10th grade when they actually published like my first piece in a high school newspaper, and people started walking up to me. I was a freshman. I didn't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? I came from the hood on from West Boulevard. I was off Beatty's Ford. People that know Charlotte know that I was going to a different high school than everybody I went to middle school with. So I knew very few people. And so I can remember what happened to my ego as a writer
Yeah,
when people confirmed me. And that was just me being in a high school fucking newspaper, which is where I met Andrew, actually.
right.
And
Shout out to Andrew.
yeah, shout out to Andrew. I mean, Andrew can tell you all of this stuff. It's like, oh no, that ego fed me into the writer that I am. So I know what type of ego that guy has for the level that he's operating on. And it's like
Yeah,
you'd rather go out like this than
yeah.
fade into the sunset, because let's call it what it is too. Well, a rapper's shelf life has been extended, but most rappers' shelf life has been extended. Well, not everybody's having the same shelf life extension of a career, though. And the same thing is for these journalists turned media personalities, and his is looking like it's going out bad. Am I wrong?
No, and I think I came up with the answer in real time while we're talking. But to your point, Coop, and I want to ask y'all a question first. Uh, well, shout out to my son because I see what you're saying, Coop. Because this my son's senior year of high school, and he was writing for his school newspaper. And he doesn't have an ego behind it, but I could just tell by the way he took pride in what he wrote that it was something that was real gratifying to him. And I would read his articles, and I would be real proud as a dad. I'm like, yo, that's dope. I didn't even know that's something he had in him. You know what I mean? And it made me proud. So shout out to my son because he really did a good job at that, and he's good at what he does with it. But the question I want to ask is, if you saw anything with Elliott, how many times have you watched it for him and his personality versus who he was talking to or talking about?
Like, how about this?
Let's go. Good question.
This is one of those things. Okay, he uses the cachet that he built as a writer to get him his clout as a media personality. So the
Bingo.
play is smart, but this is what I mean about it looking proper. Oh, he was on Boulder Crest with Young Nutty a couple of years ago when Nutty was blowing up. That's East Atlanta. My homegirl Sade, Sade the artist. Y'all done seen Sade before? Yeah. Okay. So where Nutty and 21 shot their video and the Texaco and all that, where Elliott did the interview at. Oh no, Sade stay right across the street. It's like, oh no, I'll be over there like all the time. Elliott can't pull up over there. I can barely pull up over there, and I'm from there and have people that literally right around the corner right there, and I gotta watch how I pull up around there. There is something about it that's inauthentic. If you know, you know. Because think about it, I was raised on the east side down here, got friends all around that area, be down there with them all the time, and even I got to watch how I move when I'm on that corner specifically. I just literally had a conversation with a homie. We was watching the Nutty video, and he's like, "Yo, Coop," he's like, "That's the most dangerous Texaco in Atlanta." And this is from somebody that's from the South Side in Atlanta saying that.
Yeah, this is what I figured out while we've been talking. We described him as the corny guy. The difference is when he made his comeuppance writing for Double XL, you're the corny guy, but in that era, all the cool rappers had to come to you to get their stories out. You know what I'm saying? So the corny guy has a purpose. All the rappers that have the cachet have to come to you to get everything to the public. You know what I'm saying? But now in the modern era, you don't need a print media journalist to get the story out. The artists can stream themselves. You know what I'm saying? You got social media. You got other people who are more interesting and more charismatic that can talk to the artist, maybe another artist themselves, and they can share a conversation that you can't have. It's just like the conversation, like, you know, if Charles Barkley is interviewing another basketball player, they're a part of a fraternity that another journalist can't understand. Like a Skip Bayless can't get on there and like have that kind of vibe and that level of conversation with another athlete. So it rubs them the wrong way. And I think that's what Elliott going through now. Like, yo, I was the corny guy that all the people had to come to me to get the word out. Now they don't have to come to me no more because they can go to anybody and everybody who's a little bit more charismatic than I am and then get their story out there. So what purpose do I have in this realm? And he's having trouble finding his way, but instead of like being inventive and, you know what I'm saying, and like going back to the drawing board, he's just hating.
No, well, this is what I mean. Is it? Well, this what I've kind of been saying for the last couple of years. Well, he's actually been hating the whole time because you know the lane that he's filling, guys, is actually ours because he doesn't have the cachet to pull those artists anymore. Because of his cachet, the younger artists, well, his people can get in contact with them and they be like, well, you know who that is? He started Double XL and now a young and up and coming artist. So what he is doing is he's using his notoriety as a writer and as a founder of publications to transition into the media personality realm by getting the up and coming artists to gravitate towards him because of the cachet that he built in the realm as a writer and an entrepreneur, not as a media personality. So we are getting exposed to a new character who we are not familiar with because you all know this as writers as well. And AG, you can probably ask your son this from the writing that he's done. Oh no, writers have characters within themselves. Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Is like I mean, and you guys talk to me behind the scenes more than I let most people in, and even more so with Andrew. It's like, oh no, I'm not even like this off the camera 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have I look at it from the perspective of even doing this podcast. It's like, oh no, I have a personality, I have a character on this show. You know?
Yeah. And that's very true. And you brought up the young people who like, and this is an honest question. I don't know the answer to it. It just popped in my head. Up and coming rapper in 2025. How much reverence do you think they even have for the Source and Double XL?
No, so I mean the industry works kind of like it's like one of those things. Okay, so when I came into the hospitality business in Atlanta, there used to be this guy Pano, and he started this restaurant called Panos and Paul's, and you know they pretty much started the fine dining culture in Midtown in Buckhead in Atlanta in the late '70s, early '80s. Okay, and so for me, when I am coming into the business and coming back from California, it's 2006, and Pano is coming into an establishment that I'm working at. That is the talk of, you know, he's a legend. You get what I'm saying? And so the industry works that the rap industry works in that same way. It's like, oh no, no, no. I didn't work with him. He was literally building this shit out before I was born and when I was an infant. But when I was in this and I was in my mid 20s and he was coming through the building, it's like, oh no, the whole building was like shaking because of the legend. It's like knew who he was, and you know, got a chance to sit and talk with him one time, which was like really, really dope. And that's just one of those things. And that's what I'm saying. Elliott's cachet, as far as being a hip hop journalist is concerned, is like that.
It is, but he
And so
became
and so
a
so even if
caricature
the
of himself.
guy doesn't know, if even if the guy doesn't know, oh, somebody on his team knows. And it's like, oh no, 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 that's a good look for us. Like we need to do
Yeah.
that because
Okay.
the
But
artist might be like, who this old nigga? Be like, oh no, 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 that's the dude that did and and oh, the dude might be like,
Yeah.
oh,
The
I
freshman
remember,
class, the freshman cover is like,
I
yeah,
remember when my uncle used to tell me about. Okay, bet.
yeah.
Okay, do that. Bring him down to the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I had a homies make sure everything's straight. You know, and and then it happened. So
but cool, that's the thing. He became a caricature of himself over the years because you're talking about someone who may have had, you know, respect at some point, because they probably felt like he had to have the respect. But over the years, he started doing some funny things. So now you become a caricature of who you were. And again, I know we got to move on from this. I'm gonna say it like this, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way in any pod space. You know, it's a privilege and it's an honor to be able to come on camera and talk hip hop with two good dudes. And I don't take that lightly. You know, I told AG, and I even told you, Coop, when you and I first started talking, I never wanted to get on camera. I never wanted to share stories that I know that could go viral, but out of respect for those stories, there's nothing to talk about for those stories for the public consumption. But you have, you know, characters out there, you have personalities out there who think that this is the career of careers, where they only get a few thousand subscribers and a few thousand likes and all of these things. And that's where you have it with someone like Homeboy, like Elliott.
so this is what I mean with so when you say that, Sean. So my immediate thought when you said that was that I've probably only told about 10% of the stories that I've had since I've been doing the pod over the last 4 years. I could easily do this for about 20 years without sharing all of my stories. Think about the stories he has and how much writing
Exactly.
material he has based on these stories. Like he could be literally writing short stories to these publications based on a conversation he had with Jay at when the 40-40-40 club opened and he got invited to the, you get what I'm saying? It's like he has such a plethora of hip hop history at his fingertips. If you were to put a pen or a keyboard in front of it instead of that, and maybe he gets back into the habit, because although it is like, hey, how about this? It's like, you know how they say it's like riding a bicycle? Well, it's like, oh no, you can get on a bicycle and ride it again once you've ridden a bicycle before, but it ain't the same if you ain't ridden a bicycle in a while. And really what needs to happen is that he needs to get back on that riding bicycle, because
Exactly.
that's where his star really shines. That's where he is a legend to us. He is not a legend as a media personality. He is a legend as a journalist.
But to be fair, our era and maybe a little bit after us are the only ones checking for print media. Like, you know, you get into this younger age group, I don't think they're checking for
He's
print
way
media like
old.
that.
He's significant. He is notably older than us. And
Hmm.
so even having his demographic in our age bracket, which is a step below his, is still viable enough to make
Yeah,
yourself viable. We have made ourselves viable with way less.
right.
That's
But I'm not saying it's totally dead because we scroll all day long and I read articles on the internet. But real talk, when was the last time you bought a magazine?
It's a dying IP. It's nothing. It's nothing.
But he is one of those guys that can thrive in that dying environment because he is a hip hop legend and icon, has a hip hop journalist. He is one of the people. He's grandfathered in. And so, how about this? Like the county that I live in doesn't allow happy hour. Okay, there are a couple of places that open. If you opened a place before 1990 in this county, you're allowed to have happy hour because that's when they changed the drinking laws about the happy hour. He is somebody, although that these laws and these rules have changed, is grandfathered in because of how long he been an establishment and an entity as a journalist. And
Yeah.
so these rules that we are talking about that apply in this modern day game, they do not apply to a select few, and he actually is one of those select few. That's the part about it that makes it nasty work. It's like, this shit don't apply to you, right?
Yeah, I think we're saying two different things. You're saying he needs to fall back on what made him great. What I'm saying is, like, podcasting is all, I told Sean this before. Everybody got their, what I'm saying, throwing their names in the hat, and we're all eating off the same carcass. You know what I'm saying? We just a bunch of vultures out here eating hip
No,
hop
you told me that
podcasting.
too. You
Yeah,
told me that
hip
too.
hop podcast is overrun, bro. So
Very
maybe I'm
ruthless.
giving Elliott too much credit, but I'm saying as smart as he is, and then where he comes from, he should be thinking about the next thing. Like, don't try to hate on the podcasters doing their thing now because they're caking up and they're doing their thing. Okay, so you might have missed this boat a little bit. You need to be thinking about what's next. You know what I mean? And pioneer that. And instead of falling back on what made you great, because like I think that's a dying IP, what Sean said. And as far as hip hop podcasting, I think we the dopest out, but we only got just shy of 2,000 like subscribers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's because everybody is consuming the same content. They all eating off the same carcass, man. So somebody got to find that new.
Right. I mean, truthfully, for us, and this is what I mean about he's not in this space. In order for us to thrive, we have to outwork our competition. We don't
Yeah.
even have to be better than our competition. We just have to outwork them. I do think we're better than our competition.
Well, it has to be a combination of those things.
I mean, it has to be a confluence of circumstances for sure. And what I'm saying his confluence of circumstances look like is that he doesn't even have to be in this space to thrive and exist. He is deified in this space. And what he is doing is playing with his deification because this is not like, how about this? If he was the Michael Jordan of hip hop journalists, oh no, this is not Michael Jordan with the Wizards. This is like Michael Jordan, like right now. Like if you ask Mike to play, like
But
that's what this look like. You know what I mean? This ain't no 20, 22 points a game. Like that's not what he out here giving.
yeah, I know we got to move on. But to my original point, some cats just don't need to be in front of the camera because we didn't know he acted the way he acted. Like he might have been giddy as hell, like every time he interviewed Jay for Double XL. But when you put that optic in front of the camera and people see it, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk about like really, you know what I'm saying? Like messing with your brand or whatever. People like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's out there for public consumption now. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, the image of people, the image of what people had in their head, the ones of us that did hold us high for what he built in the past, that's tarnished, bro. We don't look at him in the same way because of how he acts when the camera's on.
That's because now you can go back to his writing work and be like, oh, well, he has biases, and that hurts your integrity.
It's blatantly obvious.
It's like, how about this? Not to be funny. Not to be funny. I'm about to bring up some old white men right quick. Did y'all ever know how Peter Jennings, Tom Brokaw, or Dan Rather voted? Because they delivered the news to us throughout our entire childhood, teenage, and 20s about politics, and we never knew if they were Democrat or Republican. Did you ever know if they were Democrat or Republican?
Right, because that's what true journalism is.
And so that's what him being a media personality has exposed is that, well, we have you as an icon, as a journalist, and it's like it looks like you have like, not the journalistic integrity that should be bequeathed to iconic journalists in any sort of sphere of writing. And
He's too
that's what
much
I
of
mean
a
about how
fan
he is hurting
in the
himself.
bad way.
Yeah.
In the worst way. In the worst way, because he's
all right. We got to
compromised.
get out. We got to get out of here
Yeah,
because
we
we
gotta
can
go.
literally do this for the whole show. We got to go. We got
Yo,
to go.
Elliott, we say all this with love, Elliott. If you were to get access to this in any kind of means, we say all this with love. If you don't take it as love, so who cares?
No, Sean saying it with love. I ain't saying it with love. I'm saying
Yeah.
the shit like it
Love
fucking.
is love in 2025, man. Love is love.
Yeah. I would love it
Love
if
is
you would
love,
stop.
love is
I would
love,
love it
love.
if
That's
you would
Capadonna
stop.
quote.
Please don't do that to start 2025. I would love it if they would stop. What I would love for 2025, if Elliott, if you would stop doing this bullshit, and if they would stop quoting Capadonna. That's you two
That's
over
crazy,
there.
man.
You two.
Cool. Let's get some super chats, man.
Let's get to these super chats. I lost the damn super chats again.
I got you right here. I got you right here.
So blind. CJ the Kid back in with $5. Once I found out that Elliott is the one that gave One Day It All makes sense 3.5 mics.
CJ is crazy.
I knew never to trust him.
This dude, he's embracing his villain role, man. He's really embracing his villain role.
It is
CJ's that guy, man.
It is an easy 4 mic album though. The Real Raisinhead, $4.99 on the super chat. Even before X's death, why is it funny to laugh at Wayne's drug issues but not DMX's? And if Wayne were from New York, who would be? Question. Love the pod. Salute.
If Wayne were from New York, who would he be? Is that saying? I guess Jewels.
Yeah.
Because they was,
way better than Jewels. No, he's not a comp.
They were comparable at one point.
The Raisinhead, I'm not about to argue about that.
Both
The
was
Raisinhead
sipping the link.
super chat. Dear Elliott, for a hip hop journalist who claims to support a culture that reps the voice of the unheard, it's sad. The day of the gatekeeper is over. The rabbits ain't giving the guns back. Wow. You want to know what we have? We have some very Ghostface Killer and Lil Wayne abstract bar work super chats tonight.
We appreciate y'all. Y'all starting the new year right.
It's been stellar. The super chat game has been stellar. Hold on, we have more 007 stepping in the building again. Premier just towered some ish. That Nas project may be one of those. Greats don't speak like that and not deliver. Kind of reminds me of Nas talking about Stillmatic during the Nostradamus promo. Insight from 00 to start off the new year. And we are going to go to a topic that does not involve journalists and media personalities, but back to the artist, gentlemen. And I use that term loosely about both of you motherfuckers. Who needs to have a successful campaign in 2025? Artist, producer.
Your guy. Cole.
You already know. You already know what I'm about to say, Sean. Go ahead and say it for me.
Cole gotta have it. He got it. This got to be the year Cole. Drop the fall off in the first quarter and dominate 2025.
I would like to let J. Cole know that we have gotten to the point in this dance where Sean is finishing my thoughts and sentences, and quite frankly, that makes me sick. Shame on you, Cole, for putting me through this.
Yo,
I don't know how many years I have to come on a podcast and say that he needs to make album of the year. But I'm just not going to say anything this time.
You think Cole needs that more than Drake?
Yes. Drake is Drake. Let's not get it twisted, guys. Drake is Drake.
I'm just asking a question.
Do a baby with a cold need purple Tylenol?
Look, man, Cole was a chosen one from a purist standpoint.
You can't do this. Look what I've been subjected to. I'm from the west side of Charlotte and east side of Atlanta, and I've been subjected to Andre 3000 and J. Cole for the entirety of my podcast career. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. We need some W's. We need some W's that don't involve Rhapsody, quite frankly.
The fall off got to be the one.
I'm not joking. No joking when I said that. I'm not exaggerating. Do you understand what has happened to Atlanta and North Carolina artists since I've been doing this?
Yeah,
Look at
I
what's happened
agree.
to the baby.
They
The
fell
baby is
off
from the
since.
same side of town that my family is from. He's from Huntersville. My family is from West Boulevard. Like that's West Side.
I agree that Cole is the one. The fall off needs to be a 5 mic classic album. I agree with everything y'all saying, but there's other names out there that needs a really viable 2025. Like Drake, you know, that 100 gigs and all that stuff was cute, but he needs a bounce back. And not talk about a joint for the casuals. Like he needs to get back, like what he did on those 6 tracks with the the Scary Hours 3 on the For All the Dogs. He needs to make a joint like that and really appease the rap fans and like, you know what I'm saying? Because he lost the battle, but I think he can save some face if he releases an album with a lot of those, right? And y'all might think I'm tripping, but Jay, it couldn't hurt Jay to drop an album that's really dope in 2025.
Okay.
Because he took a hit, you know what I'm saying, in the PR, you know, we don't have to talk about the case, but when Jay-Z addresses stuff on record, and granted, like if you don't have any kind of trial, like by then you, of course, your lawyers are telling you don't speak on it or whatever, right? But just hypothetically, when Jay addresses stuff that's going on in his life, he really, you know, that's when he's sometimes at his best. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if he comes out of this unscathed and, you know, hopefully not guilty of anything, a Jay-Z album would be big and dope for him in 2025, where he gets to address the issues from his vantage point. And, you know, I think a lot of that public perception that's been ruined could swing in the other direction if he's not guilty.
I respectfully disagree. I think Jay is who he is. I don't think Jay have to respond to nothing else. I don't think he needs to make an album. Maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, yes. 2025, nah. Jay is who he is, man. Jay doesn't have to make any more music if he chooses not to. If he want to drop a Lucy in 2025 just to address it, so be it. That's a stretch. I don't think he has to drop a full album. I think, again, AJ, I get what you're saying. Drake is Drake. Let's not get it twisted. Drake's still selling like crazy right now. Either in the midst of all of this battle, if you take away all the noise from social media and the hip hop police and all of these things of social media, Drake is still selling like crazy. He's still a major draw. He doesn't. 2025 would be great for him to have, of course. That's a gimme, right? But for someone like Cole, who actually has already he tweeted on, I think it was first. Yesterday he tweeted the fall off.
Cole did?
Yeah, Cole did. So
Okay.
he's saying like, yeah, it's coming this year. He's the one who needs to have like that banging year to close everything.
Let's address the Jay thing. Everything you're saying actually about the Jay thing is spot on, AG, except for the hip hop connoisseur perspective of it, which is, well, he is going to be forever compared against one guy musically. And I just don't think it's wise for him to step into that foray, because then what can happen is that, you know, him releasing a subpar album post this Nas run can make it, in public opinion, like, well, you know, you
And
want
he
to know?
knows.
Oh, that guy is the GOAT, actually. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
No, I get it.
about that, unless he got it like that, and I've been saying this for some years too, unless he has a King's Disease one worthy album in the bag, it is not a wise decision for him on rap terms to do it. But I understand totally everything that you were saying. Cole, Forest Hills Drive just can't be your best album and you be a top 20 MC all time. And that's
I agree.
just, and so that's just really it at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that like Forest Hills Drive isn't Madison Square Garden worthy, because it is. But this is also not 1996 where your 20th best rapper is probably like somebody who we never grew up listening to. Quite frankly, you get what I'm saying? Like who would fall as the number 20 rapper of all time in 1996? Like when all of us became like kind of like hip hop heads, like official guys. Like think about it. It's like in 1996, Jay wasn't even solidified as a top 20 rapper all time. Like so we grew up in a climate where it's like, oh no, Cool Mo D, Grandmaster Caz, and Melly Mel are still going to make a top 20 list easily.
Yeah.
We grew up in that world.
Correct.
And so being a top 20 MC of all time, Forest Hills Drive is not good enough for that.
Right. No, I agree
It
with
is
that.
not as your magnum opus, like, because watch this. Okay, so where do you have Redman, AG?
Yeah, Muddy Water. We're not even going to do that because Muddy Waters is better than Forest Hills Drive, so we're not going
Right.
to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
where you got Cool G Rap?
Oh man, Cool G Rap would be in my top 15. So
Okay, think about this. Is Forest Hills Drive better than Wanted Dead or Alive, or Live and Let Die, or Road to Riches? Do you think it's better than any of those three?
I would say no, but I think part of me saying no lends to my age demographic because I think at a certain point, a lot of people would resoundingly say yes in Cole's favor.
Okay, about this. Is Forest Hills Drive better than Long Live the King?
No, that's
Okay,
one of the greatest albums of all time. Period.
Yeah.
He's not ahead of Kane. Most people don't even have Kane. Like where you got Kane?
Because that's all Kane has to bring to the table. I think that's what hurts Kane.
Okay, so you got Cole ahead of Kane?
I don't. I never really thought about that, but like that's Kane's only buy-in, and I think that hurts him a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Because we hold legends different. We hold
Kane,
guys like that.
Kane's impact. Kane's some of those guys, their impact is so different because of the time in which they evolved, and they're so far ahead of the curve.
Kane has Biggie and Jay as children, so off that alone, I'll put him ahead of Cole. But with that said, as great as Long Live the Kane is, that's your only like major buy-in, and that knocks you down. Like that's why Kane is not in my top 10. But I love Kane.
Fair.
But to clarify the J thing real quick, Coop, I agree with what you're saying, but what I meant was on the content side of things, because I know people, one of my best friends, he thinks Jay is the GOAT, but he was like, yo, I could care less about hearing Jay in 2024, 25 talking about his paintings on the wall, being married to Beyonce, all that stuff. I'm saying is this gives him viable subject matter to really delve into. People trying to take him down.
But he's done it before.
Oh, you mean this is good inspiration for writing material?
Right. That's what I meant.
No, love that. Absolutely. Hold on, AG, and would not be surprised if he hasn't already even recorded some records. Just don't know if those are ever going to see the light of day.
Because I think that's when he's at his best.
That's still a safe place. Yeah. Oh, when you put him up against it, yeah. That's
for a whole album.
The Blueprint.
He's done it before. We've seen it too many times with Jay. He don't have to do that anymore. He doesn't have to do that anymore. If you want to drop a long verse on a Khaled joint or whoever,
God did.
Yeah, I mean, like
no. I don't want to hear that. You want to know what, AG? When you were talking, I did think to myself though, I could see him maybe doing like a little quick 4-pack of songs and maybe dropping it out the blue and being like,
Why? I don't think it all has to be on the case, but
I can see a little 4-piece swing. See a little 4-piece swing.
Today's rap fan base doesn't view Jay the way the people view him that we came up on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's a lot to be said from his vantage point behind it.
You want to know what's crazy? And I didn't really find this out until this past year of kind of like working in Midtown and downtown in Atlanta again, like regularly. There's a generation of people that literally look at him. It's like, oh yeah, that's Beyonce's husband. And I'm like, nigga, what? They're like, yeah, that he used to rap,
That's
right?
what Sean says.
I don't say that.
First of all, Sean says that because he's petty and disrespectful.
I don't say
These people are saying that because this is their
I
reality.
mean, I thought I heard you say that before.
You know what they were saying.
Pretty certain. It sounds like something Sean would
I
say.
said that's
And with that,
Blue's
we're gonna
father. I said that's
we're gonna
Blue's
get-
father.
All right, moving on. Next topic. Next topic. This dude, Sean Wild.
wow.
It's Blue's
No.
father.
Super chats. Then next topic. Jermaine
Look,
Johnson
man.
with the $9.99 super chat. Elliott was hating. Elliott is also correct. A lot of these media platforms are trash. It's mostly just hip hop gossip, not music. And then they call themselves a journalist. Well, you know, we got these glass houses, so I try not to have stones when I step outside of that motherfucker. All right.
Thank you.
My mere thoughts. 199. Jay-Z in my lifetime volume 2 2025. No. How about no? How about no?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that volume 2. That's a good segue to our next topic when we get out of these super chats.
Yeah.
All right, pull up the rest of them.
Okay, the last one.
My mere thoughts with the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, my mere thoughts. The fab north of Montana is fire. It is.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
I was skeptical to listen to it. And once I saw the cover art, I was like, come on, fab. And then it was pretty dope.
I didn't see the cover art. Somebody sent it to me, but I'm glad they sent it to me. It's one of the better records he's made in a minute.
Yeah. Shout out to Fab.
Yeah, shout out to Fab. Speaking of Fab, OG Classic segment. So, gentlemen, a lot of our great and all-time great MCs have been making returns in the 2020s. But what do those deposits look like? We've seen a lot of albums made with predecessor titles of their greatest works. And is this just an overall good look for hip hop? Is really what we want to ask. And are these artists potentially hurting themselves by releasing classic album redos and sequels of the same name? That maybe it happened too late. Did they miss their time? Did they miss their moment? What's the thought on the return of all the OGs? Because we got a ton of guys that have made returns in the last couple of years. Ice Cube just dropped the project last year. We've always talked about the Nas run. Wayne is still here and viable. And as much as people hate to admit it, even the guys that people call the big three, the Waynes, I mean the Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes, those guys are all 15-year vets now. They're not, you know, yeah. Like think about this. If Steph and LeBron and KD are on the back end, so are these guys because they've been rapping as long as those guys have been balling, pretty much.
Yep.
So we got to look at the game the same way. So what do you think about the state of the OGs and how's the game looking right now?
AG, you wanna?
Oh yeah. I don't think it looks very good at all. If I'm being honest.
Tell people how you really feel. Tell them why you mad, son.
Yeah, like we was gonna focus around, legends doing sequel albums, right? And just to clarify, like a lot of times, like you said, Coop, they revisit a theme and then, do a sequel album, a lot of times with some distance or gap in between. So when they come out with this, follow-up album, when they title it as such, as a successor to the original classic, they want people to harken back to their original work, and then they're trying to come out with something new. And we often get disappointed behind those releases because we say, oh, Missionary's not doggy style. Although the Chronic and Chronic 2001 are both classics or whatever, I know a lot of people that will say it didn't live up to the first Chronic. And then, Lost Tapes 2 isn't Lost Tapes 1, and then I can go on and so on and so forth. But we usually crucify the artist for not living up to their previous works. But to the point that you said, Coop, how's the game looking? I think a lot of time these older artists got to revisit their previous works and try to tap into something dope because there's not enough dope artists in the current game. So, I'm having to get off my lawn moment, but at the same time, if you look, once Kendrick, Cole, and Drake decide to hang it up, and some other people that we named early in the show in their class, like the Big Seans and the Joeys and those of the world, who's really up next to carry the torch? I mean, it doesn't look good, you know. And we are all Griselda fans here, but those guys are our age. You know what I mean? So
they are. Absolutely.
It doesn't look good. So I like listening to Muddy Waters 2. Is it Muddy Waters 1? Not at all. You know what I'm saying? But
Very few rap albums are.
Right. But is it a dope project? Yes. And I don't want to come on here and crucify Redman for not living up to the original Muddy Waters. The question I want to ask is, what new artist is putting out an album that's as good as the second installment?
Oh, shoot. I was actually thinking, okay, so AG, I guess I think on the level of like, shoot, when is one of these artists going to make a Muddy Waters? Because that is the bigger problem. So I think we're asking a good question, but I actually think the better question is well, if there was a new crop of MCs that were making something that was Muddy Waters level, only built for Cuban Links level, Illmatic level, we wouldn't have to talk about the redos that these other artists are doing, because the game would be changing precipitously fast enough that them making those types of albums wouldn't be an option for them in this climate. You all actually taught me something when we were talking about Stillmatic, and y'all talked about it being the follow-up to Illmatic. I thought to myself, oh, he's ahead of everybody else on how quick you're supposed to do a follow-up as well. That is another feather in his cap, because Stillmatic, to me, was never a follow-up, because I'm so used to follow-ups taking so long. But then you got to think about it the way rap years work, and it's like, oh no, releasing a follow-up to your quote-unquote undisputed classic 7 years after its release in rap years, it's like doing it 20 years later. It's perfect timing. Literally doing it 20 years later is not a good idea. And very few people have pulled it off well, because I thought about something. The best redos, the best sequels or whatever that we've had, both came 7 years apart. And that's the Chronic 2001 and Stillmatic. About it, guys. The best sequels that we had came 7 years apart. What's wrong? You had the Chronic ready. You knew we were going to talk about it. I didn't even tell you I was going to talk about this. You had it ready. So you were going to talk about this anyway. So you already know. So this is the thing with it, is that the problem isn't the rappers doing the sequels. It's the fact that these niggas waited too long to do the sequels.
The space in it. Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to the Purple Tape too. I think the Purple Tape 2 is the best example of somebody taking their OG classic and transferring it into modern day form, because there is a 14-year gap? 14-year gap?
Yeah.
The 14-year gap? I
14 or
think
15.
there's no other sequel that's as good as the Purple Tape that it took that long to make in hip hop history, I think. And so and I was going to bring this up, the Purple Tape 2 for me would be the barometer by which we measure the modern day sequel in terms of how we should gauge it. Because is it the Purple Tape? Well, no, it's not a top 5 rap album of all time. But isn't it appropriate follow-up? Oh, yes, it is. It's a very appropriate follow-up for the amount of time that it took.
And in the context of the Wu, if we name in the top 10 Wu albums, I think it might make the cut at the very end.
From the solo artist's perspective?
Just Wu albums in general.
Wu albums in general. So we have Enter the Wu-Tang and Wu-Tang Forever, right? We got the Purple Tape, Liquid Swords, Iron Man,
Supreme,
Return to the 36 Chambers.
Yeah.
I mean, after Return to the 36 Chambers, I don't necessarily know if there's an album better than the Purple Tape 2. Am I missing something?
Like, you could throw Tikal in there. I mean,
I don't think Tikal's better than the Purple Tape 2. It's not.
I don't necessarily think so either.
The beats are way better. I mean, nothing against RZA's production job on Tikal, but the beats on the Purple Tape 2 are better than the beats on Tikal.
And I know you gonna think of talking funny, but the Pillage, man, like the Pillage would make that top 10, bro.
No. All jokes aside, the Pillage might make the top 10, but I don't think that's better than the Purple Tape 2 as well. And that is me saying that objectively.
Yeah, that's close, but I would give the edge to Purple Tape too. But like, I think it does make the cut for the top 10 Wu project.
No, you're right. You're right, because I think you could drop it at about 7 or 8 or 9. I love Nigga Please by Old Dirty Bastard. I don't care what anybody says. That's in my top.
That was a wild era because we got Bobby Digital and that like around the same time, and you had to be a diehard Wu.
It came about a year apart because Bobby Digital was like
that's what I'm saying, like around the same time. But I remember they came out like if we do a fiscal year, they came out.
Apart. Hold on, no, that's 2 years apart. Isn't that 98?
I think about 2 years apart.
98, 2000.
I remember them both being like my freshman year of college. One was towards the front end and one was towards the back end.
If ODB is 99, he's late 99.
It had to be,
Second, definitely fall. Yeah. Had to have been fall.
Bobby Digi came out in 98.
I think it was the second year. Yeah, my second year, because I only spent 2 years in the dorms by my own spot. I remember both of those was out, you know what I'm saying, before and when I was in the dorms. But yeah, it was a year apart. But still, that was a wild time to be a Wu fan.
I fought through it though, man. I ain't gonna front. I fought through.
Oh, rest in peace, the Holocaust for real. Like,
rest in peace, the Holocaust, aka War Cloud, man. One of the
rest in peace, the ODB.
Well,
man, one of the dopest lyricists, man, in that Wu camp from the West Coast, man.
Best verse on that Bobby Digital album, arguably.
Best verse on that Bobby Digital album.
That and Meth's verse on NYC Everything are the two best verses on it.
Yeah. Sit behind the kin as we go inside the mind again. Never mind the man. Drop a gem, can he shine again? Most definite.
Yeah.
The Meth is crazy, man. You guys killed that. If I can add on just a little bit, you guys really killed that. Real talk. Bravo. I think for me, my take on and the emotional side of me, I don't disagree. I agree with AG. The logical side, I don't disagree, or vice versa.
Sean, you echoing a little.
Yeah, I got this other device up trying to get stuff in. I'm still echoing.
No,
still echoing.
You sound good, man.
All right. No, let me turn this thing off because I'm in the chat at the same time. All right, that's better. Here's the thing, fellas. The OGs never had anyone to pass the torch to. So they didn't have a successor. And because of that, they got to come back and circle the block. I think when Jay had an opportunity, when he was trying to get Bleak to be the next one, to be the new improved Jay, it didn't pan out. And he leapfrogged that and went to Wayne when Wayne was on his run. Remember he said, pass the torch to young Carter, go further, go farther. I think when you have stuff like that happening, when you circumventing the region itself, you don't have someone to replace what you already created, because we always talk about it, cool. You and I, even behind the scenes, we talk about how important, the early 90s were when it came to hip hop. And you had the pillars. And you even go back to 88, 87, 89, when you also had different pillars. You had, Rakim, you had Kane, you had KRS-One, you had Coogee Rap. You had the who's who were dropping gems. Phenomenal albums. So now you're building a strong foundation. You're building a strong house. And you start adding rooms to that house in the 90s. You got Big, you got Nas, you got Pop, you got Jay coming along, you got Wu, so on and so forth.
Redman,
right?
Outkast.
You got all of these Outcasts, Goody Mob, right? Outcasts opened the door for Goody Mob to come through, right? Although their inception is the same time. But they allowed Goody Mob to come through after they established themselves.
Outkast is the South's gateway drug to hip hop. Like, Outkast is like, oh no, they got good weed down there. Like, oh no, we all need to smoke this.
Bingo. So it made people say, okay, I want to hear more, but I want to hear from that Goody Mob chamber. And because of that, the door was open for those guys to come right behind Outkast with fairly ease. And they were dope themselves. Even in New York, when Nas came through, you had Mobb Deep, you had others coming, you had CNN, you had all of that.
Lost Boys was big for a minute. They were repping Southside too.
Lost Boys, right.
Onyx.
Right.
That's just Queens. Lost Boys, Onyx. That was just Queens. Tribe.
Exactly.
That's all.
Exactly.
That's just Queens.
It's
Yeah, there's a
exactly
lot of talent floating around.
a lot of talent, and you got you got Tribe who started some of that lineage as well. So now you're talking about co-signing, you're talking about unity, you're talking about Nas being on Live at the Barbecue, you're talking about Nas being on Verbal Intercourse, and you're talking about AZ being on Illmatic. So you're talking about opening the door for others to follow because of cosign. Think about how many albums we purchased just because our favorite artist was on that album. We
Oh no,
probably purchased,
I bought Do or Die on a cosign.
right of a cosign because you saw Nas' name was on there as a featured artist. I want to hear Nas' verse because that's the only way I can get it. I can't stream it. I can't buy the
Well,
single. I got to get the whole album.
well, no.
So
Well,
now
here is my
I
thing. Is
inherited
it's
that
like,
love.
well, my favorite rapper is backing this guy. He's on his album. He's in the guy's first single. Like Nas is in the Sugar Hill video. With,
Exactly.
so it's like, oh
Exactly.
no, that's the reinforcement of the backing. That used to be all you needed. It's like, oh no, this guy
All
can
you,
rap. My
that's
guy
all you
backs him. Like that. That's like Redman and EPMD. That's all. That's all Redman needed. It's like, oh no. I heard his verse. It's like, oh yeah, I
yeah.
heard his verse. It's like, oh no, that
And,
guy.
and that's all you needed. Even with
Yeah.
Jay trying to get Bleak to be the next one, but you have Beans who was much better than Bleak. So
See, but
now
that's the thing. So hip hop. Here's what really happened. This is where the passing of the torch stopped. Hip hop used to decide for you.
yes.
So when you're bringing up Jay, yeah, he was trying to give it to Bleak, and something happened to him. And you want to know what happened to him? Crew Love happened, and all of us said, "Man, nothing against your boy Bleak. He's dope. That other guy that's on the record with him, Beans, oh, that dude is next level."
He's
That was the
next
first
level.
time we heard the first time we heard Beans on Crew Love. We was like, "Who in the fuck is that nigga?" That is the same effect that it happened when you hear Snoop on Deep Cover, when you hear Nas on Live at the Barbecue. It's one of those when you know moments. And let me tell you what happened, because Jay has something to do with this. The OGs stopped passing the torch when it was 50's turn. And that's the fucking problem. And Jay is implicated in that, and not about Bleak and not about Beans. It was time to pass the torch to 50, and them dudes didn't want to do it. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm one of those guys that didn't want the torch passed, and I'm going to tell you why. If you go look at everybody in New York who was king before, oh, he is the least lyrically inclined of all of them. And New Yorkers, even when 50 was taking the reins, were still funny about their lyricists because they're used to Rakim and KRS-One and Cool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane and Nas and Jay and Big and even Kiss. And 50 does not fit that mold as a traditional lyricist. And that's where the shit changed about OGs passing the torch, because nobody gave it to 50, so 50 just had to snatch it out of their hands.
I, I see your point, Coop, but I halfway agree, halfway disagree. I think Nas tried to pass the torch to 50 when 50 wasn't ready for it. You know what I'm saying? He took him on tour when he didn't have to.
You're
And that's what
talking
I'm
two
saying.
years. You're talking 2 years before he's ready. He's not ready then.
Right. That's what I just said. I said he wasn't ready for it then. And granted, M is not New York, but by that time, M was an OG by OG standards, passing it down to 50. And he had the Dre backing too. So he didn't have it from NY. I do see your point on that, but he did have OGs backing him. It just happened to be two of the biggest, most famous OGs. You know what I'm saying?
But
That's okay. So AG, everything that you're explaining is actually spot on. The makeup of it changed. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It wasn't him getting the cosign from who really had the torch. Eminem never really had the torch in hip hop's
right.
eyes. That's where the cosign 50 is where the cosign becomes the thing and not the torch bearing and torch passing.
You don't think he
This is
had it in '02 after 8 Mile and all that? Because, I mean,
Well,
50's '03. I think M had the torch in '02.
no, I
mm,
mean, to be honest with
mm,
you, man. I mean, so this is what I mean about how this still works. If you're talking '02, most
Mhm.
people walking around in '02 still think that Nas, Jay,
Yes.
DMX,
Yep.
like definitely those three. Ghosted
But I
made
mean,
Supreme Client. Ghosted made Supreme Clientele, which brought Wu all the way back and was in that mix.
right, and it's still New York, but the Eminem show and 8 Mile ain't nothing to sneeze at. And I know
It's
y'all
not.
ain't as big an
No,
Eminem
no.
fans as
No,
I
you're
am.
It's
you're
not.
right. You're right.
It's
You're
not
right.
anything to sneeze at. It's actually
Right.
a very, very big moment in hip hop history. But it's to quote Jay, "The streets is talking."
Can I say
But
this? When 50 joined Eminem, Eminem was at his hottest, like we like to say, hottest fish grease. And I really find it comparable to when Drake was brought on to Young Money
Yes,
because
yes, yes,
Wayne was at his highest and as
yes.
peak when Drake came on there. So it's like
But
a power vacuum. You know what I'm
both of
saying?
those moves were strategic by Eminem and Wayne, respectively, at the peak
Right,
of their powers to make a
right.
power move
right.
like that.
And the difference
But
with Jay, and I hate to say this, but y'all alluded to with Beans, he would never let them get that close to him. You know what I'm saying? As far as in the ranks, as
that's what I
far
mean about co-signing instead of torch passing. It's like,
I
oh
was
yeah,
no, like
took the
I'm
words out of my
because here's
mouth.
the thing
Yeah.
about it. Think about it. Like 50 always talks about, oh, I always ride for Eminem because of what he did for me. He's not
hmm
necessarily he has talked about over the years about how close they are, but when he talks about what he would do, he talks about what M did for him. That's a cosigner, is
Right.
what
And there's
he's
a
letting
fine
you
line.
know.
That's a
So,
fine line.
so
Yeah.
that there's a difference between somebody passing the torch and somebody co-signing. M put
Yes.
his name on the line behind 50, not
yeah,
passed a
Yes.
torch to 50.
yeah.
Yes. And that's the
Yeah,
bigger point. That's the bigger
that's
point,
where
guys.
that's why I'm saying that's where it changed because
Right.
well, really, and AG very astute observation about how Nas did take him on the tour of Bravehearts. That was the matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, that was the R. Kelly Nas tour in 1999.
Believe
If I'm
so.
not
Yeah.
mistaken,
It
yeah.
was Nostradamus tour, but I do believe R. Kelly might have been on there too.
No, he had tour dates with R. Kelly too because they came to Charlotte. I remember because I went. Um, Damn, that's crazy because that's around the time Did You Ever Think came out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the
Yeah.
remix to that. Yeah, so Nas did try to pass the torch to 50. You are correct about
But
that. But 50 was
mhm,
not ready. But it was Jay's to pass by the time it was 50's turn.
yes,
And
yes.
Jay not passing it set up a confluence of circumstances where a MC from Detroit, who happens to be the biggest sellers artist in the game, and a guy from California who happens to be the biggest producer this game has ever seen, had to come in and co-sign this guy for him to get that torch. And that was different.
Well, Jay said it himself because he was in quote unquote retirement and he tried to pass the torch to his guys. He said, "This guy 50 Cent is coming and he's going to crush the game. So get y'all affairs in order because if it's not y'all that's doing this, then we
Like,
got a problem."
like,
He wanted
like,
to pass the torch to one of
how
his
about
dudes.
this? How about this? Before M co-signed 50, MCs didn't co-sign other artists of 50 stature. They passed the torch. The producers co-signed. This is what I mean about a producer co-signing. Marley Marl Hill's Big Daddy Kane rap a verse outside the front door of his apartment is like, no, no, no. You come back. Co-sign.
Well,
but
50
that's
had both. He
the
had
thing.
Drake too.
That's
But
what
that's
I
the thing.
mean
I don't
about how
think it.
that's where it changed. It's like, no, he had the artist and the producer and shit. They're like, oh no, everybody on the cosign now. It's like it used to be.
Right.
It used to
It's
just
more
be the
co-sign.
producer be like, I got this guy that can rap, Dr. Dre and Snoop. I got this guy who can rap, you know.
Right. But that's the thing, Coop. It's not a cosign anymore. I mean, it's not a torch anymore. It's a cosign because what artist really passed the torch? I hear what you're saying, AG, but Nas never really passed the torch to 50. He co-signed 50. He said, yo, 50 is the future. That's not the same as passing the torch. Because again, rapping is all about I'm the
No, this is
one,
what I
I'm
mean.
the
So
man.
so so people pass the torch differently though, Sean. Like I've heard some stories about how, like, like G Rap wouldn't give Nas the same type of shit that he was giving the other MCs in the studio because he could hear a guy Like he could hear Nas rapping and was hearing the stuff that Large Pro was paying for him, and it's like, oh no, he talked shit to a lot of them other dudes about their rap skills as opposed to his. But even with a young Nas, he didn't necessarily talk to Nas that way because he could hear what is coming. There is some torch passing in those moments because different people pass the torch differently. Like G's a gangster, so he's not about to, like, you know what I'm saying, just be like, oh, here you go. But his way of passing it may not be to talk shit about you and give you the shit in front of everybody the way he is all these other dudes that's in the studio. He might let you just sit over there and write in silence instead.
But I don't think just one person had the torch to pass it, what I'm saying. Like even with Rakim, right? I don't think even during Rakim's reign, he didn't have the torch just isolated to say here's to Nas or here's to whoever. Like Big said, there's no rappers in this.
Rakim didn't pass Nas anything, if we're being correct. Nas took it.
Hold on.
He never passed it to anyone.
I don't agree, because the two most isolated moments that I can think of one person having the reign is actually Rakim and Jay, respectively, for about a year and a half, like where it's like, oh no, yeah, they got it, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
Let me say this real quick, because I think y'all are saying two different things, or holding. Sean, it sounds like you're putting more weight on the passing the torch, and Coop, you're putting more weight on the cosigner. But let's just break down the definition of cosigner. So all of us, you know, successful men that secured a lot of loans. Sometimes people can't secure loans in this world unless you have somebody put their name on the dotted line for you in order to get certain things. Neither did I, but I'm just saying, like, that's how the world works sometimes. So what Cooper's saying is actually right, though, because 50 had Eminem and Dre put their names on the line for his success. Nas co-signed AZ. AZ got a deal behind Life's a Bitch and stuff like that. I think passing the torch is less formal. Like when Nas was rapping on the Made Nas Proud, the response to the J. Cole, let Nas down. He said, yo, here's the crown, it's nothing, I pass it to you, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a passing of the torch moment. Like, yo, it's a wink, it's a knock, I tip my cap, I see you carrying on tradition of what I'm doing, so I'm passing the torch to you. But he didn't co-sign J. Cole, because co-sign would be put my name on the line like Wayne did for Drake. You know what I'm saying? Stuff you know what I mean? I think the cosign is the heavier weighted thing.
It is. That's what I'm saying. There's no such thing to me as really passing that torch, because in hip hop it's too competitive to say here you have it. Because even from Rakim, you got to think about LL was there, and LL thought that he was the one. So many people thought that they were the one, where it's hard to say this singular person honestly has the crown to pass. Even when Big was in his prime, what he said there are no, I don't have any peers in this rap thing. They're my children.
But in so many ways, he did pass the torch to Jay. A lot of people like to frame it like Jay just picked it up after Big died, but Big respected who Jay was in real time when they both were alive. And Jay is one of the MCs that Biggie, it's documented that Biggie feared Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying?
Passing the torch.
Yeah, I don't know if that's passing the torch. So when Jay is recalling the conversation where he plays Big Streets is Watching, and Big is like, the whole album is like this. He asked, Jay, is the whole album like this? So
I don't think he got to pass the torch, but I think if he did, that's the person that's going to.
How do you know that Big wasn't saying that from the perspective of oh no, I can do that and make bigger records than you.
I gotta up the ante.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Or is
that's
Big
competitive nature. Yeah.
Is Big saying it like, oh, I'm concerned, or is Big saying it like, oh, I already got you because I do that and I do the other thing better?
I think it's more out of concern.
You think it's out of concern? See,
I do.
It's a matter of perspective. But here's what I'm saying: as much as I love Streets is Watching, it's not better than 10 Crack Commandments to me, because the creative license and the delivery on 10 Crack Commandments, like sometimes being rooted in the reality of it can hurt you as a writer when you're up against somebody like, I don't know, Big, because Big can be rooted in the reality of it and flip the fly shit better. You get what I'm saying?
But yeah, I think the passing the torch is less, it's more informal. I'm looking at it like a relay. Like, yo, you carrying on you know, what I done started off and you carrying it on and you carrying it even further and you might spin back and like, I take it back again or whatever. But co-signing, I think like careers are built off of co-signing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The passing of the torch thing is more informal to me.
In hip hop, it's hard to pass that torch because it's too competitive. And because
that's true.
You're looking at the field and you're saying, oh, they're doing that. I gotta go back and do this. What Big said. You took Ready to Die, took home, study shit, and now you want some. Come on, like he's saying, you're taking what I'm saying, and you're trying to do what I'm doing at a high clip because now you're raising the bar. It's not passing the torch anymore. It's raising the bar. All those guys, Nas, Big, Prodigy, Ray, that was the 4 at one point. Remember, 95, that was the 4, and they were raising the bar with each other. When Cuban Link came out, it set a whole different style when it came to mafioso rap.
Right.
You had to look at that like, oh,
but that's all G rap though.
Exactly. But guess who took it? Who raised the bar?
Okay, so G rap is kind of like the author of it, but like what the Purple Tape does is like up the ante because what you have is you have them actually adopting aliases. And you actually have them talking about things that, quite frankly, like our 13, like Meyer Lansky, Cristal, like all that. I found out about that from the Purple Tape.
Right. But is that not what you're supposed to do? I just said,
like,
is that not what you're supposed to do? Though? I said, if you're past the baton in the relay, you are supposed to take it faster and further, correct?
Yeah. So how about this? The foundation that G Rap laid, it's like the Purple Tape is the upping of the ante of that, but in the upping of the ante, it actually became the standard bearer because now it's the benchmark because nothing has really surpassed it since it's.
And while we on mafioso, to that point, Coop, remember I said on this show, I still to this day think we don't get a It Was Written if Do or Die is made. I don't think we get that album.
I don't know, man.
That's the bridge piece from Illmatic, and that shows the direction of where it was going next.
I think It Was Written became because of the success of Ready to Die.
Well, yeah, that was the culprit. You know what I'm saying? What put him in that mode, but A was already there.
I think what he did with It Was Written was try to take the infamous and Ready to Die and do his best.
And I think Cuban Link plays a part in that too.
Cuban Link too.
I think Cuban Link is influencing the scope, but I'm talking in terms of like the records being made. I think there's a lot of Ready to Die infamous influence on It Was Written in terms of the approach.
Yeah, but go listen to Do or Die. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves.
The bridge
it has the best things about Illmatic and the best things about It Was Written. It's the perfect companion and bridge piece between the two albums. And who was Nas running with at the time? AZ.
No, I
mean, Do or Die is actually the first rap album that I bought with my own money. I bought the tape when it came out. And so, like, no, Do or Die is like that. People understand, like, Do or Die has a lot of classic records on it and very few misses.
Very few.
Actually, I mean, I can't.
If any. I can't think of one.
I don't love the beat till we don't win. And as much as I love Uncut Raw, I would have preferred a different intro. Even though I love that record. I would have preferred a different intro because I feel like a different intro would have helped that album achieve the instant classic status.
It needed better executive production.
I was just about to say that. Because after you hear Cuban Link in 95 and then you go and hear Do or Die, it's tough, man. It's just
I feel like
it's not fair.
The sequencing could have been better. Like I don't love Uncut Raw going into Give Me Yours. I love both of those records separately though.
I agree.
Separately, like isolated, both of those records are brilliant to me.
It's too much of a shift. It's too much of a shift.
Together to start off the album.
Give Me Yours could be a bonus track.
Right. Right. Give me yours is too early. Like it's a banger, but it's too early. They could have even flipped. Like, how about this? Even if you want to flip, Give Me Yours and Rather Unique. You know what I'm saying?
Love Rather Unique.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rather Unique's one of Pete Rock's more underrated production jobs too.
Yeah, he's going crazy. Let me ask y'all this real quick. Do y'all think in my mind, I think that Chuck D passed the torch to Cube.
Yeah.
What do y'all say to that?
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that because Q was radical, just like Chuck D.
Well, his production team produced his first solo album, so that's
There you
a
go.
pass.
Yeah.
He's there while it's
He
getting
was in
made.
that, he was in that camp. He was in
And
that camp.
Ice Cube is very much Chuck D. West and always has been.
Absolutely.
Orator wise, they're in the same wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? They're both natural orators.
Yep.
Yeah.
Radical guys. Yeah. Push
But
the
strong
envelope.
personalities.
Strong
dope
personalities.
lyricists, content-driven rappers.
They didn't care. They didn't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech.
Let's get to some super chats right quick. Throw the first one up because it already passed me by. It's my mere thoughts. I know I saw my mere thoughts up in there. Pull it up. There we go. After Kenny Cole and Drake, hip hop will get dark.
Thanks.
That's a fact.
Wow.
It doesn't look good on the horizon.
Brandon Rogers with the $10. Appreciate you, Brandon. Only Built for Cuban Leagues had a pretty solid sequel. We spoke to that. Absolutely. It's one of the best sequels ever. It's not Stillmatic or 2001 level, but it's up there. Jermaine Johnson, $4.99. We need our listeners to drop sequels because unfortunately there are no great mainstream MCs under the age of 30. It literally doesn't exist.
It's a fact.
Ooh,
it's a fact.
That might be a show topic for another day. That's a show topic for another day. Ill Magic with the $9.99. If there was a biopic movie on Lauryn Hill, who would y'all want to play her? My pick is Ryan Destiny. I saw her in the Clarissa Shields movie and was shocked by how much she favored Lauren so much.
Shoot.
Okay. I would want I can't think of her name right now. The lady that played in Us and in Black Panther.
I want
Lupita.
Nyong'o or something like that.
Yeah. I'd like Lupita to play.
So it's now the wrong time for me to pick Delicious from Instagram? No, not Delicious.
Okay, so moving on.
No, bad time and bad. All right, keep up with the super chat.
The chick that play why am I like drawing a blank? Was in Walking Dead and Black Panther as well.
But have you seen the little brown skin thing?
Nah.
Nah.
Denai. You don't think Denai? I think Denai would kill that.
Nah,
but have you seen Delicious on IG? You know the little brown skin thing I'm talking about?
No, cool.
Man.
Okay.
No.
Just ask questions. Just asking questions. Ask questions.
No. You did not.
Public has a right to know. Public has a right to know how you feel about Delicious. I'm gonna send you guys a couple links. Definitely might change your mind. Definitely might.
No, I know LP might be looking for it right now though. Yeah, they're not too old, man. Respectfully.
Whoa, that sounded disrespectful. And with that, we're gonna go.
Now, Lupita would be the better choice.
Lupita would be the better choice.
Yeah.
And her acting range is great.
Speaking of disrespect, gentlemen, it is time to get to this week's Discord dialogue as we close this show. Yes, the Discord has decided and said that we are going to talk about a little bit of state property D-block rap wars. Sean, you kicked this off. You was in the mix.
Man, was I? Oh my goodness! I was
never tell those stories live again.
Man, you would never ever get a chance to see something like that again, ever. One of the best times in hip hop, man. You know, with state prop going up to Funk Flex and doing that freestyle, going crazy. I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated it. We wanted to jump in a car and go up there to see what time it was because we all hated it because he was going at. He started off with Nas, all of those guys started off with Nas, and then they started going into Kiss, and then they started going into to Styles, and it was a funny time because they already had music together. You know, Rockefeller State, in the Locks. And they already had, tours together and everything. So there was some connective tissue. And, New York looked at Philly as a little brother, respect to Philly, but New York looked at Philly as a little brother. Like, how dare you, come at us like this? And this was really part of that big Philly wave that was coming through. And Rockefeller was a big part of that big Philly wave, with Beans leading the charge and Freeway right there beside him. And it was crazy because in real time, I could never fathom, I could never, concede to the fact that it was even at that time. I'll be honest. I felt like, yo, Locks, Jada, we're killing them right now. Yonkers, we're killing them right now.
Like people
But
understand how nice Beans was. Like Beans
nice.
that day was going at Nas and Kiss and Styles.
Yeah.
And I was worried and had
worried.
legitimate cause to be worried because he was like that. I was like, this is, it's like,
yes.
I was like, oh no. I was like, not with this dude.
Jay
I'm like,
had that boy on the front line.
I'm like the other dudes can rap. I'm like the other dudes are nice. The other dudes can rap.
Yes.
But that was the day that Beans, I was like, but this dude, this dude built different because he built for the moment. No, he was just going and going. And I was like, oh no, I was like, he here. Like he
wasn't stopping.
I'm like, this is a problem. I'm like, he's a whole problem. Like he's the first dude.
Kiss died you on a holiday. Styles died you on a holiday. Like he was going crazy, man.
The inflections, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No. He went berserk. He was the first dude that I heard go at somebody like of their caliber, and I was like, oh no, they need to be worried right now. Like I don't know. I didn't heard him. I knew he was like that, but no, he liked that like that. Like when he got done, I said he might end up being one of the 5 greatest MCs of all time. That was my takeaway from him walking out of Hot 97. I was like, he might end up being one of the 5 greatest MCs of all time. Like it might go Nas, Big, J, Rakim, Beans.
Look, Nas wasn't speaking hyperbole on Ether when he said compared to Beans, you whack. Like, I mean, that wasn't. I mean, Beans was really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people know that wasn't true, but it wasn't a far-fetched claim.
How about this? The boogeyman that popped out that Kendrick showed. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas, right? Mm-hmm. The boogeyman that finally popped out in 2024 that Kendrick showed after 14, 15 years in this game. Oh no, Beans showed us that in about the first 6 months. You want to talk about some boogeyman shit? That was what that was. When people be talking about it, it's like, yo, Coop, like when I be talking about the happy beats, I got that from Beans. When they played Nas's Like and told him to rap over it, he was like, cut them happy beats off, yo.
And I'm
thinking like, you do not talk about Nas's like that. And then I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh no, this dude is nice enough to talk like that because he might go rap over the beat and sound just as good as Nas. And I can't remember nothing but a handful of times that I felt that way about a rapper. It was a stellar moment. And
I got a little too giddy when he said that. I ain't like that, man.
He did. I
mean, he did. That was the J effect.
Nothing.
That was the J effect. Now you know Elliott and Funk Flex love Jay Scrotum. All right, now
for a moment,
on that motherfucker.
Yeah, but not anymore. Not flexing anymore. Flex, he been going that shit. Like,
it's no. It's too late. Once you done swang from the balls, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, them checks might have stopped coming.
Well,
checks definitely stopped coming. That's when the attitude changed. It became a real media personality again. But that's neither here nor there. You know, but it was great times, man. The Empire Strikes Back mixtape, all the D Block drops and stuff. But who do you think won the battle? AG, I think you should take over right here.
Oh, before I go, I'm gonna let Sean finish his thought. You know what I'm saying? Because he was, you know what I'm saying.
I'm good.
Okay. Real quick before I get into who I think won, I'll answer that first. I think overall it was a tie. I think this is the only hip hop battle that I will call a tie. It was just like that. But me personally, I was rooting for Jadakiss, the Locks, D Block, and J Hood. Don't get it twisted. Was a problem around this time.
Hood was a problem.
And
Charlotte, North Carolina.
But one of my homies when I was in the dorms at college, he was from Philly. Rest in peace to Dan. You would have thought like when they went up there and did those freestyles and was killing every Nas, Mobb Deep, or what Locks beat, like you would have thought that State Property was the Wu-Tang Clan, man. Because I never, Dan would remind me every day, like, yo, they killing your bulls, like he would say, like, you know what I mean? Like, they killing your bull Nas, they killing your bull, like, Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? He would tell me every day, but it was undeniable, man. And what I got most out of that beef of the crews back and forth was, you know, street dudes, just real gutter rhymes going back and forth, but the youngins Like J Hood was like 16, Chris and Neef was like 16, 17. They were like dogs on the mic and they were getting after it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't even have albums out. Like they were, starving for a deal or whatever. And they was giving it their all. So that's what I took the most from it is the youngins like really, really cooking. But if you're not familiar with this battle, do yourself a favor, go on YouTube, type in D Block versus State Property, and I'm sure it'll be like a playlist of 20 videos or more because you'll hear every freestyle. That's why I said we lived in a great time with this Drake and Kendrick battle where everything with social media is rapid fire. Like, 40 minutes later, Kendrick drop, and then the next day drop again, and then we get this and we get that. But there's nothing new under the sun. This is not something we haven't seen before. If you was alive during this battle back and forth, I'm telling you, like,
I think some people have it mixed up too. It's not like Beans and his freestyle, like they weren't really taking shots at Nas. It was more the in between talking shit.
Right, they was, but the bars were in there. But like I said, it's nothing new under the sun. Stuff was getting released literally every day. If you couldn't get to the bodega and cop the mixtape that had all the joints compiled on there, all you had to do was, it wasn't the YouTube back then, but it was Napster, it was LimeWire, and you had the blogs. Yeah, and you had Kaza, and you had the blog sites that was like, it was like Hip Hop Game, and you had allhiphop.com. Yeah.
DX.
SOHH.com.
Yeah, so.com. It was the blogs like that were on fire because one joint would come out the next day, less than 24 hours, another joint would come out. And Joe Budden even spoke to this on his podcast. They didn't care. It was like, forget mixing and mastering. I'm going into the studio. I'm blazing. I'm getting back at this dude. And then I'm putting the record out. You know what I'm saying? It was so rapid fire, we couldn't keep up. So, a lot of people were going crazy over this Drake and Kendrick thing in that regard, but we lived that, 20 years ago. And what a time it was to be alive, man. It was really, really dope. I'll call it a draw. And, I just wanted to, highlight something real quick. We revisiting this, and this is something me and Sean always said, we got the time stone in our possession. And going into 2025, Hip Hop Talks want to give y'all original content. And, we wanted to revamp Discord dialogues a little bit. So instead of really focusing on just specifically artists or, producers or whatever, we want to focus on specific times in hip hop. You know what I mean? Because events mark time, and we have these big events that everybody, if you weren't there to live it, it's not a lot of pods out there covering stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to take it back, use the time stone, and revisit this classic moment and give it to the people. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't take for granted that everybody's familiar with this stuff.
Well, you want to know what, AG? I thought about something when you said something, and then we can go to our press play and finish up. The hip hop blog site world, as we know it, this mixtape war and beef between them two has a lot to do with the existence of those sites and the hits that they got and the traction that they garnered that ended up turning into the YouTube thing. Because I know this, AG, for a fact. Every day you went on hiphopgame.com to see if somebody dropped a new dish, just like I did.
Every single day. I skipped class to just be on those blogs, bro.
Just so we could get to a desktop and get to the audio, because this is back in the time where you couldn't get to that type of audio if you had a phone.
Yes.
Those types of things weren't available, so you had to get to a desktop.
And trust me, I was slanging burnt CDs. I was trying to be the first one that had all them joints, burn them on a CD, then hit the campus and sell them joints, man. For real. You'd have thought I was an artist trying to push my own stuff. For real.
That's all I did every day. I stayed with this cool ass white boy who was a PodCap, and he had this big ass Mac computer. This is like some of the first Mac desktops. Like, them things used to be massive. Like, they used to literally take up the whole desk. But he used to let me jump on his LimeWire and on his website and on his internet all the time. And every day I would go and get on Hip Hop Game or hiphopsite.com and see who dropped what. And this is kind of what started the whole YouTube era before the YouTube era. This is actually even a little bit before the MySpace thing. So this is right around MySpace, but this is a little bit before MySpace too, guys, had blown up. And this was the thing. This was the move.
And to your point, Coop, this was the undercard. And if you was tuned into this, you was really
ahead.
You was really ahead because the Jay-Z and Nas thing was like so big. You know, it was the main event. It was the main event. But this was arguably more entertaining. And you was really ahead if you was like tuned into this battle because they was like really going for it. And, you know, like I just think that it doesn't get the publicity and the shine that it got because of Jay-Z and Nas. But this battle, you know, Kiss and Beans was on the front lines.
I think it did, AG. I think it did.
Really? Some of it is timing, and this is what I mean. For a hip hop head, you can actually say that the State Prop D Block thing was more exciting because it was more engaging and more active. I can remember arguing about Jay and Nas before the beef happened in live time. We was already aggy with each other about that part of it. This was a pleasant surprise. And so that's why I got the traction that it got. Like what Jay and Nas was doing, if you was paying attention, well, we all seen this coming since about 97, 98, right? Yeah. So this was years in the making. The whole D-Block State Prop thing popping up like that, and it popped up that day at Hot 97, it was like, whoa. And then you start hearing the Lock story about the Reservoir Dog session, and you're like, there's a little friction in here going on. Because Beans is in that session, Sauce is in that session, Jay is in that session. And that's also, too, where the ether bar, you pop shit, apologize, nigga, just ask Kiss. This is the day that Nas is referring to about Jay apologizing about, because this is where they got disrespectful and D-Block hadn't said anything about State Prop.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
They were, quite frankly.
Here's the thing to tie it up. You know what I'm saying?
They knew Beans. They didn't know State Prop.
Yeah, they didn't know the rest of the cast, but to kind of tie it all in together, we talked about how Drake winning all his ops, and he should have just focused more so on Kendrick. And then Coop, you alluded to, like, on Takeover, Jay should have focused a couple verses on Nas versus a couple verses on Prodigy or whatever. But during that time, Jay had so many ops that he had to, like, okay, I'm going to focus on Prodigy. I'm going to focus on Nas. But Kiss was coming up the ranks too, because in 2001, other than Prodigy solo, it wasn't nobody more anticipated than Kiss.
Kiss was anticipated.
But Jay-Z knew not to... Yeah, Jay-Z knew not to bite off more than he could chew. Like, yo, I'm going to have my hands full with Nas and P, pause, but, like, Beans, you go over there and you get that guy. You know what I'm saying? Because Beans and Jada didn't have a problem. But Jay-Z needed Beans to go handle that while he took care of, like, P and Nas, people who already had staked somewhat a claim in New York's hierarchy. Jadakiss hadn't staked any claim in that hierarchy yet, really.
But AG, don't forget
he was looked at.
Right.
Some of that was okay. So part of me does still feel like Jay put him up to the Bean side of things, or to the Kiss side of things.
Bean said that out of his own mouth.
Yeah, like because if you really look at New York around that time, it's like, Kiss is the guy who had next. Kiss was the guy that Big wanted to do more records with.
This was the one.
Kiss was the guy that they were talking about lyrically being the next version of Nas. People forget this. Jay popping up and becoming part of this upper echelon conversation was a surprise. There were guys that were firmly stamped before Jay came along. Prodigy was stamped. Ray was stamped. Redman was stamped. Meth was stamped. Nas is stamped. Big is stamped. Pac is stamped. Snoop.
Jay had to work for it.
Snap. Jay is the guy that came into the fray and kind of messed up the motion of how things had been going and how the pace had been dictated. He was the unexpected guy. And so a lot of the moves that he's made have affected hip hop for better or worse, whether you like it or not, because he was the guy who unexpectedly walked into the room sooner than expected. It's like
it's not only unexpectedly. Remember you said earlier about outworking your competition?
Oh yeah, no. He did. He did. He
was the embodiment of that.
You want to know what my favorite bar of him is actually when he says, And as far as progress, you'll be hard pressed to find another rapper hot as me. Because if you listen to this guy on In My Lifetime, and then listen to the guy that knows how to rap over a sparse instrumentation like Friend or Foe, that is two totally different MCs. And about
That
12 months time,
right now.
in 12 months time,
That's
in
cool
12
backs.
no. I'm sorry. His 12-month turnaround from 94 to 95 into 96 is
Well,
the greatest. It's the greatest jump in rap
and we
history by a rapper.
talked about his competitive fervor. That's why, because Jada did have next. But
He
if
went
you're
from being an
Jay-Z,
okay rapper to an all-time great rapper in a year.
but
Like,
if you're
no.
Jay-Z, you looking at, okay, this is the guy they saying got next. I'm gonna stifle everything he's on. I'm gonna come with the Fiesta remix. I'm gonna come with the Best of Me remix.
But that's because he's petty and he never had next. That's why I'm saying his jump is the great. We don't talk about it enough because it's him. His jump as an MC is actually the greatest jump in hip hop history. He went from being an average MC to an all-time great
Him
MC.
or Wayne? Wayne's in that combo.
No, it happened for Jay in 18 months. It took Wayne years.
Okay.
It was years of an evolution of Wayne changing and upgrading. Jay literally.
But Jay was always dope. He was just using the Iggity flow. That was the difference. The Iggity
I think
flow.
it was harder for Wayne because him being from down south had more going against him as far as traditional lyricists and up north New York rappers.
But Wayne didn't have to switch pace the way Jay switched pace. Jay literally had to dial back hard, guys. That's why I'm saying the guy that's rapping like Fushnikins, the guy that's rapping like Fushnikins is the same guy that's on Friend or Foe a year later going, Friend or Foe, yo, state your biz.
Yeah, that's
all jokes aside, we clown him for the Iggity flow days, but I think that actually helped him. Like, I think once he realized he wasn't getting traction with that, because if we naming the best flows ever in the game, Jay-Z's up there. I think everything got in slow motion for him, like Neo in the Matrix, where he's like, you know what I'm saying, like this and catching bullets and doing all that. I think when Jay slowed it down, it was like everything was in slow motion for him.
Even when this is what I mean about his growth. You can even hear the growth on Reasonable Doubt. Like, he is rapping slower on the Preem tracks, which you can tell came later, than he is on the Clark Kent tracks. Go listen to Can't Knock the Hustle. Y'all niggas lunching, punching the clock. My function is to make munching, sitting back munching, sipping Remy on the rocks. My crew, nothing to stop and wanting to watch. Unstoppable, scheme on your crew. He's still rapping like that on Reasonable Doubt. He's still rapping on that like that some. So, like, the jump is, it's stellar, guys. Sean, I know you hate that we waxing poetic.
You're doing too much Jay. Let's get back to the battle.
Okay, let's just go to press play and get out of here.
88
Let's go to press play.
Sean got a whole scowl on his face.
Let's go. Sean is so scandalous.
Let me sick with this,
man. Let's just go to press play and end the show.
Shout out to 88 Spence. 88 Spence went on when Jada said in Philly, he said, send Siegel to why I'm riding again. We getting it on. Throw your man leg on the lawn. He can't walk.
That was bold.
That was bold. And I think Spence was in the crowd looking at him crazy.
He got batteries and stuff, though, that like they went crazy. They was throwing full like soda cans at him.
Spence threw a battery at him. Spence threw a battery at him, I bet it.
Let's press play, guys.
Let's play. AG, you got to kick us, so I had you line up first.
All right, no doubt. I was in the holiday spirit, you know what I'm saying? For my press play, I'm doing Christmas theme related joints going into the New Year's. First up, I got Shoot 'Em Up by Nas off Nostradamus. You know what I'm saying? The interpolation of Carol of the Bells, the Christmas song. And that's one of the highlights of Nostradamus. I know this album gets panned a lot, but that's one of the dopest joints on there. Havoc on the beat, Nas killed the flow, and that interpolation of Carol of the Bells, they executed it perfectly. But it's a grimy street track, over a Christmas melody. So love that joint. And keeping that same energy. We talked about this record a few shows ago. Iron Flag, another it's a Woo album that's, not that great, but I love Dashing Reasons. It's taking Jingle Bells and the melody and, killing it. The way Deck comes in on the verse, that bodies it, followed by Jizza. I love it when those two are on the track together, just them sparring. Love that track. You know what I'm saying? They killed the Jingle Bells melody.
Never liked
Next
that.
up, what'd you say, Sean?
Never liked that song, man.
Oh, I
Never
love it. I think it's a dope way to end the
You don't
album.
like Dashing?
Never liked it.
I
Never
think
liked
it's one
it.
of the better songs on Iron Flag.
Yeah, I thought it was a strong way to end the
Top
album.
five. Top five on that album.
Yeah, I agree, Coop. Next, I got Outkast Players Ball, in particularly the Christmas version. A lot of people may not know that in late '93, Christmas '93, Outkast's debut, you know, for that single was on a LaFace compilation, LaFace Family Christmas. And the original version, which you'll never heard played nowadays, you know what I'm saying, when the Players Ball is happening on Christmas Day, but to reach a wider audience and to keep the life of the track going, they changed it for the album version. They say all day, every day, you know what I'm saying, which was genius. But the origins of this track was for a Christmas compilation. A lot of people don't know that. This is one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time. So got that joint on there. Glad I can make ATL proud, Coop. And then for my
love that you know the history of it and the proper history of it.
Oh,
too.
100%.
Yeah.
And then for my last joint, we talked about Fab earlier, and I can't speak enough about this track. Like Coop plays Take It in Blood every birthday, every New Year's, I play this song, Ball Drop by Fab and French Montana. Love this record. It's appropriate. And what I will say, that Young OG project from Fab, for me personally, I don't know if y'all disagree, but that's one of the better projects of the last decade. It came out Christmas of 14. So, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I was about to say, when you talking? Okay.
Yeah, it came out Christmas of 14. So it was a few days, you know, older than a decade. But that whole project, a lot of people slept on that. That whole project is fire from front to back. So
I slept on that project. I got to it late. You're right.
yeah, that project is fire. Fab did his thing. He's going crazy on there. But every New Year's I revisit that song. When the ball drop, that song comes on for me. Played it last night. I mean, night before last, matter of fact. So
Coop, you up, my man?
You know, when I heard about the Discord dialogues thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm a big fan of Beanie Siegel. And I feel like what has happened to Beans is arguably the most tragic case in hip hop history that doesn't involve somebody losing their life. Because I feel like if this guy signs to anybody else around that time, and if he can keep his legal difficulties at a minimum, and by minimum, I mean a TI minimum, I think we are looking at one of the 10 greatest MCs of all time, easy, and a top 5 candidate. He is the only guy that I have heard post Nas and Jay in their prime that just off of everything that he brings to the table would present a problem to them in their prime, a legitimate problem, because he is more ferocious on the mic than both of them. Delivery wise, he is better than a prime Nas and comparable to a prime J. I will say this version of Nas that we have gotten during the Hit Boy run has a better delivery, but delivery wise, he is better than Nas, lyrically wise, better than Jay. And so my press play is my favorite 4 solo records for him that have no features. So we're gonna go to number 1, which is Feel It in the Air.
great pick.
Feel It in the Air. When is this? This is 2005? I think it's 2005, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Feel It in the Air dropped as soon as the year started. It dropped this time in 2005. I can remember when Feeling in the Air dropped saying to myself, if rap songs are going to sound this great this year, we're about to have a great year. This was the first perfect record I heard in 2005, and I still think it's one of Bean's favorite records. And he even references this record in terms of recording it without writing it, which is one of the first records he did like that because Jay had been working with him to make his flow sicker by not writing. And so he didn't write this record, and you can just hear where his delivery has just improved from him not writing the rhymes down anymore, which is crazy because his delivery was already sick. Next, we got Look at Me Now. Look at Me Now is actually my favorite Beans song. It is one of the most underrated songs in his catalog. It is the song right before the song everybody talks about, which is the duo with Jay, It's On. But this is the song where you actually get the Philly version of Beans that actually explains his comeuppance from the streets to Rockefeller to actually the tribulations that he's going through to becoming a successful man from his circumstances. I love Look at Me Now. It's my favorite Beans record. And these are all solo shots, by the way. He has no help because I have other records that I love that I could have picked like One Shot Deal with Redman, but these are all Beans solo shot because I think people really need to dig into Beans' catalog and see how truly brilliant he was. My next choice is What's Your Life Like?
Yeah.
What's Your Life Like, bar-wise, is probably the best record on his debut album, The Truth. I think What's Your Life Like epitomizes what Beans brings to the table as an MC. I think something that doesn't get stated often enough, Beans got a lot of Ray in him. Like, he gives you that gritty, unfiltered street talk the way Ray does. It just doesn't have the high slang
Not as fly.
It's not the slang linguistics and the fly talk ain't as fly. He's a more gritty, grimier version of Ray, which seems crazy to say, but when I listen to What's Your Life Like, I'm like, this is the type of record Ray would have put on the purple tape had he made it. And so What's Your Life Like is a purple tape level like street record to me. Because he literally is talking about what life is like for people like inside prison, not jail, but prison. And last but not least, a Buck Wild joint. This was the banger on the album that I think got everybody's attention. Stop, Chill. This is Beans kind of like in, this is a record where it's like, if you like street rap, but you like to nod your head and you need it to be like not just super lyrical, but you still need to feel the ethos of it. Stop and Chill is Beans' level to me. This is the record that I feel like I wish he would have made more records like it, because I think this is his lane. And this is a lane that actually Jadakiss and Styles ended up filling, which I think is funny because of the beef. But Stop and Chill was my favorite record to actually like play and ride around to off The Truth. That and the actual record, The Truth. And I could have gone through more Beans records, but those were my four.
Dope. All right. Okay. So the kid, I went with New Year's theme as well, and I wanted to start with Nas' New World.
Nah, this song dope.
That song is not dope.
The song is dope. Yes.
The song is not good.
It is a good song.
Oh my god.
You gotta stop hating on this album. Dope song. In
hindsight,
everything he was saying on this song in hindsight makes sense. Love that song.
You give out more. You guys give out more hall passes on Nostradamus than the freaking home economics teacher in 11th grade. Like, you niggas is the worst.
It's okay. You'll cross around one day.
I'm not. No.
My second one was Perfect World from Meth. This is one of the first songs I actually kept playing. I was in boot camp when this album came out. And Perfect World, Meth went crazy. He was going crazy. And actually remember hearing this song at an actual party, New Year's Eve party. And the DJ kept playing it over and over. And this was like the kickoff to Cal 2000. Love Perfect World.
I like Perfect World. Perfect World's a dope record.
It gave me hope for the album, to be honest. I thought the album was going to be like, if you're doing this.
Torture is what gave me hope for the album. But
Torture was dope, yeah.
Spazzola for me.
Spazzola, Party Crasher.
Party Crasher, ooh.
Party Crasher was crazy too.
Suspect, it got some joint Suspect chin. It's crazy.
It's just too long. There are bangers on there. If he would have made Judgment Day as short as Cal, he'd have a banger on his hands.
It was a skit scoop. He had many skits. Skits been all through.
It's a lot like this Muddy Waters too. We being honest.
It's just like it.
Like if you actually think about it, Spazzola, Suspect Chin Music, Play for Keeps. He had Party Crasher. He had about 8 or 9 or 10 bangers on there. Drop the 10 bangers. Give us 3 skits.
The D'Angelo joint was a dope single too.
Yeah, Break Up the Makeup. No, I like that record. No, that was a
And shout
dope
out to Street Life. Street Life did his thing on that album, all through the, like 7 joints. You know what I'm saying?
Street Life did his whole thing through that whole little era where he was running with Matt Fathi. Actually, he doesn't get enough credit.
He was. This one is on 50 Cent Happy New Year. Not sure if you guys heard this one before.
Try not to listen to it.
No, this is a dope record. This is a
I
dope
like
record.
it.
Unfortunately, it's not on Apple, and we are going to put our playlist on Apple, and we're going to post it for you guys. I did ask AG to do an alternate. I'm gonna make another alternate AG if you don't mind, because 50 Cent Happy New Year will not be on the Apple playlist or even the Spotify playlist. So we're going to replace it with Jay. Because one of the joints I love with Jay, he did it with Kid Capri, and it's like that. Love that joint. I thought Jay went crazy on It's Like That. I'm a hop, skipping the jump from ripping the pump. Yo,
we're just happy that it's 2025 and you're giving Jay-Z some sort of credit.
Always give Jay props. That's the problem. Y'all don't pay attention when I give him props.
You don't pay attention to how you be talking. I need you to come back and watch these shows.
He's a top 5 MC, but it's still Queens get the money. But Jay went crazy on It's Like That. So It's Like That. What actually?
You were from Corona, Queens. That is close to Brooklyn. I've been looking at my map.
Not close enough.
I've been looking at my map.
Geography.
Told you I was a nerd. I looked. I was like, Corona. I'm like, hold on, nigga. I'm like, oh, this nigga can get on the train and he's right there.
No,
he was circling it on the map.
Look, I respect Jay, but y'all know I gotta protect home. I gotta protect home, man. So, I respect Jay though. You gotta protect home. Shout out to Nasir bin Aludara.
Wow.
What's your next song, Sean?
It's time to go. No, it's time to go. Don't give him another song.
My last song is funny because I heard a snippet of this song because Swizz was actually playing it on New Year's night on Instagram, and it was Nino Man featuring Jada. And I was listening to this song, man, and I just zoned out listening to this song. I don't know if you guys heard it yet. If you get a chance, please listen to this.
I haven't heard it, but I'll check it out as soon as we get done.
I think you will love it.
That's happening. Anytime Jada on a feature, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I didn't catch that one. I'm gonna check it when we get done.
It's a dope joint. And again, it's one of those joints where I like to try to do when I press play, I like to try to drop a gem or something that no one's heard, or like a hidden gem or what have you. And I'm glad I stumbled on this one. I hope Nino Man can actually get something going. Having Jada on this album, I think he was touring with Jada as well over the past year or so, and I hope he can get some momentum behind him. But this is a dope record right here, dope message. It's the kind of energy that I think I'm going to be on in 2025, and it was dope, man. So shout out to Nino Man. But that's my press play.
Okay. All right.
Dope list.
Idle Great, tell Coop, man. He said Corona is a world away. It's a world away, man. Corona is a whole different place, man. Okay. Yo, Nino, Idle Grace is Nino Me.
Looks like a 30-minute train ride to me, nigga. But okay.
It's a world away, man.
Look like 30 minutes.
Look like 30 minutes.
Look like 30 minutes. It looked like 30 minutes.
Nah, cool.
I know how to read a map. Not
at all. Idle Grace said that Nino Man is from his hood. Salute, Idle Grace. Salute. So, fellas.
All right, fellas. Any parting shots? First show of the year. Great show.
No doubt. Real quick, check out my man Sales McFly new beat tape. He going for the 3-peat. You know what I'm saying? Sales McFly on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Here on Business Part 3. You know, check it out on Audio Mac. You know what I'm saying? He got some heat. If you're an aspiring rapper, check out the homie. Shout out to Sales McFly.
Sales, I'm gonna catch wreck on one of your beats this year. That's my word.
He always got heat, man. For real. This is the third installment.
I'm gonna snatch one of these beats and catch one, because I actually have been writing some bars again, low key. I don't even know where they've been coming from. They've just been coming to me when it comes.
They're Sean disses. It's okay.
No. I am planning for those. This is the art of war. I'm talking about what comes to me naturally as an artist. I'm not AG, our plot to take Sean down. Keep that
Yo, that's crazy, man.
Keep that. keep that. That's
Oh, that is wild.
Yo,
that's,
man. But yeah,
that's when Sean has to fly and do his little. That's right. We have
Yeah.
our conversation when he's in the air. Right.
but that's it though. You know, check out the homie Sales McFly if you haven't tapped into his beats yet. You know what I'm saying? He got some heat.
I'm gonna check out Sales. I vow to be on Twitter and Discord dialogues this year. But all jokes aside, last year was a rough year. I mean, you guys know it. I suffered a lot of family and familial and friend loss. It was a really, really rough year. I'm looking forward to jumping back in the fray. I will be on Twitter and Discord dialogues this year. That's bad for all you sucker ass podcasters out there. Beware. All right. Put it in the air.
We got a super chat on 88 Spence.
88 Spence, congrats. Dope show. Okay.
Appreciate you, bro. 88, we need your playlist, 88. When I post it, you need your playlist out there too.
Okay. I hope your list is better than Jack's whack ass list, 88 Spence. All right. Go look at Jack's list.
There's two totally different lists, Coop. We talking about the press play joint.
Okay, no. I just want to step on Jack's list every chance I get. Okay.
But yeah, we gonna put the Spotify and the Apple links up, you know what I'm saying, here shortly.
No doubt.
Life goals. Can we get some station heads cracking this year? I believe I have some unsettled beats. You guys have had. Hold on, what's that shit y'all was talking about? The Cal versus the Pillage? Was that y'all?
Yeah, put that on the docket, and then I was going to beat you with I Am versus Volume 3, and then Call Up Low, and them doing Kiss the Game Goodbye versus the Thug Motivation, whatever you want to do. And
all three of those. I want to do all three of those.
Smoke.
That's wild. Kiss the Game Goodbye versus 101.
I'm gonna call it right now. I want to call out 88 Spence, Philly versus New York. What up?
Okay. Philly don't want to do that.
What up? What up, Spence?
Them Black Thought and them Roots records is not gonna get it.
Ain't gonna get it, Spence.
Not enough against all of New York.
Not enough, Spence. I would go Queens.
You mean like really Philly versus New York? Like we're not gonna pick a borough?
Philly, you know what, Spence? I'll give you all of Philly. I'll just take Queens. I'll just take Queens. I'll take Queens.
It's not fair.
Who they got? They got Black Thought, Eve. They got Allstate Prop.
Yeah.
Me.
They got
if you want to use Eve, I guess.
Whoa. Don't do that. Don't do that right now.
So this has been Hip Hop Talks.
That's my most wanted could rap.
All right, Jason, that's my hurt talking.
That's Jason. If you got to go in the bag and get Gilly, then
yeah, you lost. If you go in the bag and get Gilly, yo, what Jason? That's my hurt talking.
Yo, we gotta go, man.
I'd like to thank you all for coming out.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Like and subscribe to the page. Happy New Year, everybody.
So for real, straight up.
It's been real.
We appreciate y'all. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. That's love.
Share, subscribe. Share, subscribe. Get the word out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let the other folks know we are not responding to the noise. 2025, we're focusing on hip hop talks in the movement. We got a lot of stuff.
I really don't even know what's going on, and I'm glad. But if Sean makes you feel uncomfortable, if Sean makes you all uncomfortable, just blink twice, and I promise. Put the bat signal in the air. So you got to blink twice and put the bat signal in the air. There'll be some dusty ass rich white man to come save you because my black ass ain't coming. Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year. Shout out to West Virginia. Shout out to prayers for New Orleans. Prayer for New Orleans.
Yes. No, prayers for New Orleans. Seriously.
Prayers for Queens. There was a shooting in Queens last night as well. Prayers for Houston. There was a bomb actually on I-85 where I'm at, going towards from Charlotte to Atlanta in that corridor. Lot going on in 2025. It's
been 2 days. How did we do all of this in 2 days?
2 days.
Not a good way to start.
2 days already. CLF, we are doing collabs. We got all of those things on the dock. There's a lot going on for Hip Hop Talks. Coop got a show coming out really soon on rap. You're going to get Coop unhinged, unprotected, all of that. It's going to be raw, uncut.
Unprotected is crazy.
Unprotected is wild. On that note,
y'all gonna make me leave the live early again. Cut the tape with that wild.
On that note, remember, stay positive, test negative. This has been Hip Hop Talks. Good night. Good night.
Yo, Spence, gonna smoke your boots in that battle.
Oh my God.